Share the link.
I'm going to share the link on my community tab.
Okay. Yep. I think we're live now.
Okay.
I didn't even get a chance to share out our live stream link.
I got it. I didn't put it in anywhere.
It's because you used Frank without my permission. I wasn't going to share that.
I should have put it in Jason's.
Seriously, I didn't know what y'all were doing, and Kyle starts talking about the Zoom, and I'm like, what's he talking about? It's like, what? Steve actually allowed Frank on his channel?
I'll allow anybody on my channel.
Wow.
You were even on here, Jason.
Wow. I know. Well, I know. Okay. I knew you had the bar set low. I didn't know it was that low. Hey.
Hello. Can we go?
Hello. Can we go?
Yeah. We got Raspberry Pi headless going.
Hey, Mike.
We figured it
hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, good. Everything still works. Steve and I were messing with Zoom today.
Are you, Mike, are you logged into the shared? Oh, so he probably kicked you out, Kyle, but it shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
It shouldn't matter.
I just clicked on the link in the Discord.
Well, yeah, but if you were logged in, so you click on a link in Zoom, and Zoom opens up to whatever account you were last logged into.
Oh.
It's a locally installed program.
So I just hijacked the Zoom.
That's all right.
Well, not really, because we did that by mistake one time. Steve did it to me when I was doing YouTubers Bunch, and it didn't really affect anything. So,
okay.
I think it's probably fine. Kyle should still be Kyle should still be admin or host, I think.
Happy Friday, everyone.
Happy Friday.
Yeah.
What a week.
Oh, you're telling me. I was stuck in training all week. Good training, but still training.
Did you have to do any of that? Pick a partner, and now tell me how you feel.
Oh,
and you're like,
no,
I feel like I don't need a partner in this.
That's right.
in this game.
I feel like
That's
I'm
right.
Here.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
It was training on the VxWorks embedded systems workbench.
Hey, Ape says that Mike and Frank are wearing the same shirt.
I have an awesome shirt.
Where's Ape?
He's in the chat. I don't know. Ape, it's beer time, buddy. Where are you, man? Come on.
It's already sideways. Come on.
Do you want to let that Miller guy
you can't get sideways on Miller Lite. Seriously, unless you weigh like 85 pounds, you can't.
It looks big on camera. He's not really that big.
Hey, Andy. Andy Callie's in the chat.
I don't know where Ape's at.
He lives like right next door to me, right, Kyle?
Oh, are you streaming this?
Yeah, he's streaming it.
Oh.
Stream started.
Oh, Mike's out.
Bye.
See you.
Bye. See you later.
I thought we were just getting together to have a cocktail.
We were, and then I said, "Why don't you stream this, Kyle?" And Kyle's like, "I don't know if I said okay. Well, then I'll stream it." No, I want to.
So it's on Kyle's channel.
Yeah, it's on my channel. If you want to dump it out on Twitter, there.
Yeah, it's on. Yeah.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Yeah, I put it on my community tab. I put it on Twitter also.
Ape's doing the needful.
Yeah, that's from. I'll tell. If you don't know what that means, I'll tell you what that means later.
I think I know what that means. I think.
Yeah. He works with people who say that a lot.
Yep.
That's what that means. I used to work with people who said that a lot too.
Is that like a?
It's not a derogatory statement. It's not a it's a lost in translation statement.
We have a guy in our club, and he always says the comment, "Oh, bless your heart."
Oh,
bless your heart. I think it's like, is that you calling me dumb? So Frank, what were you were setting just a Pi Zero up?
Yep. About a year and a half ago when Pi Zeros first hit the market, I picked one up. I said, "Ooh, cool! I can use this as a test bed because I want to start cross compiling into the Pis and on the Atom processor." Is that right? That sounds right. Anyways, ARM, yes, that thing. On the ARM processor. So I just plug it in the back of the computer with a USB. The computer turns on. It will always be there. And I never got it to do the headless install correct. It was so new, you had to tweak the operating system because they didn't have a good one out yet. And I eventually just gave up and dropped the project completely. until Steve was like, I can help you with that. And I'm like, hey, you know what? Let's give that another shot. So we were trying to set that up.
There's Adam. Adam, you're at your house. I was thinking,
I am.
Are you on the trail?
No, I'm at the house. I'm packing for my backpacking trip next week. I'm heading up to Big Bear this weekend to do the SoCal Soda Fest. And then I'm going to drive up to, the eastern side of Central California, Bridgeport area, and backpack in for a week with my family. So,
wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Bringing the radio along. So, bringing the KX2. So hopefully I'll get on the air a little bit. And maybe I'll have to schedule some times to call CQ on some certain frequencies, see if I can catch you guys.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
That would be awesome.
Sure to put in a little phone in there too, buddy.
Oh yeah, no, I got the KX2, so I don't have to do just CW.
Good.
The KX2 meets the weight requirements.
What was that?
The KX2 meets the weight requirements for K6 AR.
Well, marginally. I'm going heavy this trip. My pack's going to be about 26 pounds for 5 days. So
26 pounds. Jason, how heavy was your pack for Pacifico?
Yeah, I never really weighed it, but
mine was 38.
I'm an inexperienced hiker, and mine was heavy, and I didn't have any trouble huffing it all the way up there. So,
well, as long as you pull those straps up and you get that weight distribution, you get the weight distribution, you're okay. But
also in a pack that's heavier than 20 pounds, you want to have that waist buckle. That really helps.
To push it onto your hips.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Chuck had an extra backpack. I had brought my regular old backpack, and Chuck had a hiking backpack. So that was a good trip because it gave me not just, watching something on YouTube or reading a blog post. It gave me real experience about what I needed for next time. So
yeah.
So, and it was good. It was good. Everything was good. I didn't have any troubles making it up the mountain. I stopped 30 or 40 minutes before we got to the top because Chuck was falling behind. And I'm like, well, and everybody was kind of on their last, they're like, oh, there's a top right there. Let's go. I'm like, yeah, let's go. And Chuck was falling behind. I'm like, I'm just going to wait. And I was kind of breathing heavy by then. I wasn't winded yet, but I was
that cute there. That Texan thinks he could walk up a mountain. Let's watch how this happens.
Yeah. So,
this one's going to be a bit of a hike in. It's about 16 miles for the first day to get in. So
wow,
that's farther than we went. I think ours was 2 miles. So, or maybe 4 miles, something like that.
Screw that.
Adam, you'll enjoy this story. So, whenever we did Pacifico, I put all my hiking gear in a big, huge duffel bag and put it on Southwest Airlines, and we flew through Dallas. I think Dallas or Denver. I can't remember. And it was Sterling and myself. And we flew into Burbank and got to the trolley, or not the trolley, but the luggage distribution. And we waited and we waited and we waited, and here comes Sterling's bag, right? And I'm like, mine's got to be like right next to yours. So we waited some more and waited some more, didn't show up. So my bag got left in St. Louis, all my camping gear. Like I had literally my pair of jeans, a t-shirt, and literally like my phone, and that was it. And
that sucks.
Yeah, and I pleaded with the girl. She's like, well, it'll be here tomorrow, and it'll be here like at 2:00 tomorrow. And I said, no, you don't understand.
The address where you're gonna be staying.
Yeah,
right.
And I said, you don't understand. I'm hiking up a mountain tomorrow, and we're coming back on Sunday. This is Friday night. Like,
yeah,
you don't understand the dynamics here. And she said, well, we'll do what we can. And I'm like, oh no. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, do I rent a car and just bum around Los Angeles? Like, I don't know what to do. So Sterling had the app, and you could track your luggage, right? So it was on a plane somewhere, but they couldn't tell you where it was. Like at 2:00 in the morning. Like, and Sterling, you know, we had 2 queen beds, and Sterling goes, hey, you awake? And I'm like, well, I am now. And he goes, hey, your luggage is on a plane. I'm like, great. Like, where's it at? Well, I don't know, but it's on a plane. I'm like, oh, okay. So we got up the next morning. Yeah, no, like it just didn't. Got up the next morning.
It's kind of for Kathmandu, but it's fine.
Yeah, right. It's in the middle of Nepal, and
Yeah.
and they called at 7:00 in the morning, and said, hey, it went to Phoenix, then to somewhere in New Mexico, and then to LA, and got to LA like at 8:00 in the morning. So Sterling and I busted our ass. We drove back to the airport, picked up my pack, and then drove to the mountain. We got there at you guys left at, I don't know, 9 a.m., 10 a.m.
Yeah,
We got there at like 11,
It
maybe
wasn't
noon.
you guys weren't far behind us.
No, and we were even stuck behind a car accident driving up to the trailhead, and we sat there for 30 minutes while they cleared the accident.
We were we were not in a hurry. We were taking our time getting up there.
So anyway, Adam, I mean, I flew all the way out to California to have my one piece of luggage that I needed lost.
Of course.
Yeah.
It was a
That was fun. You know, I enjoyed the heck out of that trip. That was
it was great.
Fun. I don't get to do that sort of hiking in Texas. I've been looking at some southern Oklahoma mountains that it's actually closer. Well, some of those mountains up in like Arbuckle area, those are some good peaks up there, and that's closer to me than it's half the distance to Big Bend or something. But I don't know. But that was that Pacifico was a fun trip. When we got to the top, we realized that we could have driven up, like the other side of the mountain has a drive up, but that's okay. Cause we were like, well, we wanted to hike up anyway. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I wanted to do. So that was fun. I enjoyed that.
But you know what was crazy was we had this worry about how we were getting water up and who was bringing all the beer and this and that. So we hike up, you know, the whole entire mountain all the way up, and we all get up to the top. And, you know, Sterling and I were probably 30 minutes or an hour behind everyone else. We get all the way up to the top, and here comes a Honda CRV, you know, cruising up to the top. And we're like, you mean we could have put the water and the beer in the Honda CRV?
Right.
And brought it up that way? And everyone's like, yeah, I guess so. And it's like, oh, man. Why did we hike, you know, 20 liters of water and, you know.
That's what we should have driven
we should have just drove it all up and then hiked up.
Solar-powered refrigerator with cold beer in it, left it there, driven back down, and then hiked up the other side. That's what we're going to have to do next time.
Yes, indeed.
Josh wants to do it again. It's just going to depend on how COVID goes and all that stuff. So
yeah, does add to the challenge.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I wish that. I mean, who knows if it's going to happen again? I hope it happens again because I had a blast.
Oh yeah.
So here's my one story. I went from Dallas, Texas, flew into Colorado, met my friend. We spent a night in a room. That next morning, let's go to Pikes Peak, one of the tallest peaks in the continental 48 states.
Right.
Okay. So we jump in his car. We drive up there. I'm taking pictures along the way. I'm fine. We get up to the top, the visitor center, and I walk up the slope of the parking lot to get to the steps to the visitor center. I'm winded. I'm just huffing and puffing. I'm like, at night I should be acclimated. I'll be fine. I never had issues. I'm winded. I walk up the stairs to the visitor center, and I remember to this day the 10 steps. And at the top, I'm like huffing and puffing. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not staying up here too long. Got a couple of my pictures. I got the coin. I'm like, okay, let's drive down, you know, like 5,000 feet or so.
Yeah.
Because I'm just sucking wind.
Probably wouldn't have done too good on that mountain Adam did on his video.
Yeah, that's about how high I was last weekend, 14,000 feet. So.
You had that, Adam, you had that helmet on, and I'm like, is he going to hang glide down? Is he going to hang glide down? I was really waiting for you to jump off that peak, buddy. I was like, man, this is going to be awesome. Hopefully he's got a GoPro in his back, and I'm like, he's going to go.
Yeah, you got an HT. You can call CQ while you're hang gliding.
Right, yeah.
Aeronautical mobile.
Yeah.
What was with the helmet?
There's just a lot of loose rock on the route, and with other people there, you have the chance of rock fall. So it's just to protect you from rock fall.
Yeah.
Okay, I can understand that.
Sure.
Yep.
So no ropes in your last video, Adam, right?
No, we didn't bring any ropes. You know, if had we gone up the way we went down, it's not nearly as bad. It's class 3, which basically means it's like, imagine climbing like a massive set of 45-degree stairs with no handrail. You know, if you fall, you're going to keep going and it's going to not end well. But it's pretty easy. You might want your hands for balance here and there, but it's not hard. So we got off route onto 4th class terrain, which is basically non-technical rock climbing. And it was probably about 60 degrees ish angle, but with generally pretty good holds and you know, places to put your feet. So you know, there was very little risk of falling, but if you did fall, you wouldn't stop. You'd go a long way.
Yeah.
So I didn't know. Tell me about the classifications.
Yeah.
So
Tell me a little more about that.
Sure. So climbing classifications, it's called the Yosemite Decimal System, and it starts at class 1. Class 1 is hiking on a trail. Class 2 is generally off-trail hiking on kind of rough terrain, oftentimes, you know, a little bit steeper rough terrain. Class 3 is where you're really like scrambling over rocks and boulders and you need your hands for balance, but you're not necessarily pulling with your hands to climb. Class 4, you start using your hands to pull to climb. And then class 5 is technical rock climbing. So class 5 is broken down into a whole bunch of subgrades, and that's how rock climbers refer to how difficult their climbs are. So it starts at 5.1, and gets up to 5.15 or so. When you start hitting double digits, they break it down into 4 letters, A, B, C, and D. So kind of your average weekend warrior type climber can climb about 5.9 or 5.10 A, 10B. And then your avid climbers that train and get pretty strong can climb 5.12 range, and your professional climbers are the ones that are climbing 5.15 range stuff.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I just shared in the chat if you want to show a picture of me on one of my trips sitting on a rock ledge.
Nice.
I
did a whitewater rafting trip a while ago.
Yeah.
One of my coworkers comes into my office and he says, "Hey, do you want to do a whitewater rafting trip?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." He says, "They're class 5 rapids." I'm like, "Okay, great."
Oh.
Scale goes from 1 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm still in. Whatever. Like, why does it? Like every other scale in the world goes from like 1 to 10. Except the scale of life-threatening things.
Yeah.
So how was the trip in the end?
Oh, the trip was fantastic.
Only water.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only water.
At least the river will wash the stains out of your shorts as you go.
Yeah,
Yep.
there you go.
It wasn't even.
Hey, you wouldn't get me on the side of that cliff, Frank.
That's a cool
post
photo.
it in the stream or put it or show the photo in the stream if you like.
Yeah, I did.
Where's
Okay.
that at?
That was in the backside, the south side of Mount St. Helens. There is a national park on there, and I forgot the area. There's a big lava tunnel you could go hiking, and then they have a valley that you could go hiking down, and there's streams along the way. And I was taking pictures of waterfalls, my passion, waterfall pictures.
Yeah.
And I was trying to take a picture of the valley at the time, and I was waiting for people to leave because there was a suspension bridge a little far down, and I wanted to get a picture with no one in it. So I set up my camera, and I was there for a good hour, which I don't mind waiting for people to not be there. And I was just sitting down. I had my lunch. I did go over a rope or two to get to that area, but hey man, it was fun. I really enjoyed it.
That's really cool. Well, hey guys, I got to get back to packing. I figured I'd drop in and say hi. Mike, is your stream tomorrow or Sunday? Which day?
Sunday.
Cool. Well, have fun with that, man.
I will. Thank you.
What are you streaming,
Indeed.
Mike?
A giveaway of sorts.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be fun.
that.
Spoiler.
Well, you might
Frank
want to
won.
announce. I mean, I know what you're talking about now, but you might want to announce it if you want people to watch it.
Well, I already got the thumbnail up and everything.
I thought it was a
But-
premiere. You're streaming it?
We're gonna try and do like basically the same thing as our virtual ham fest. So I'm just gonna Zoom with the guys and we're gonna share some things. So there were some newer hams who I thought were quite deserving. So I reached out to some vendors and supplied something of my own and mailed them off to them. And we're gonna do the big unveil on Sunday.
Leave some suspicion on the table. Leave them a hook.
Yeah.
I just did. I
I
can tell them what.
don't know.
You're gonna get
I
a
have no
lump of
idea what you're
coal.
talking about. So
Well,
Yes.
I'm excited. Hopefully I'll get a chance to watch. I might be on the road, so we'll see how that goes. But
Just put YouTube on, plug it into the
Oh, yeah.
car.
Yeah.
it'll be fine.
You could first it. You could first it and just wait.
Yeah.
First.
All right, guys. Well, I'm out of here. Look for my spots tomorrow. Hopefully we'll catch you from a summit. I'll be running 100 watts on
Ooh.
some sideband and CW, so I should be audible pretty much anywhere in the country.
I'll
Yep,
have to
I'm gonna-
set up the remote station.
Yep, Adam, I'm gonna go portable tomorrow in the morning
nice.
to do some POTA, but I'm gonna keep on the air until and NAQP CW starts tomorrow at 1:00 for me. So I think I'm probably gonna get on the air at 10 and run as long as I can. It's gonna rain tomorrow, so we might get rained out. But yeah, my flex is in the shop. I broke my flex, and it's not back to me yet.
That sucks.
So I got to go portable. I don't have another station. So
NAQP
Anyway.
is tomorrow.
NAQP CW is tomorrow.
Why is it in January next year then?
It's twice a year.
It's twice a year. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
all of
I
the
didn't- I didn't
NAQPs are
I
twice
didn't
a year.
realize that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So when is the sideband one in 2 weeks then?
Yes.
Okay. Because in January it's CW one weekend and single sideband the following weekend.
Yep. I don't know
Okay.
why they do it, but I guess it's other contests they have to work around.
Probably. Yeah. If you go look at the calendar, there's so many of them out there. Okay. So
Yeah.
so the weekend of the QSO Today virtual ham fest is the same weekend as
No. No.
well, that's the week from tomorrow.
So they skip a week.
No. They skip a week. So
Oh, they skip a week. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
Single si-
consecutive weekends in January.
Yes,
Because
but
I was
it's
looking
not.
at that today for that other thing I sent the email about.
But it's not in August.
Okay. All right. So it's going to be. Shoot, let me pull up my calendar because I want to do that. That's a good goal to have my freaking antenna back up by.
You could
So
build the DX Commander
I'll
by
help
then.
you,
just
Jason.
saying.
I
The
even hold the
15th
camera.
The 15th and 16th.
Well, it's only the 15th. Yes.
Well, okay.
Yes,
All right. I
correct.
don't remember how long it was.
So
but
it goes your time. It goes 1 p.m. to 1 a.m. But yeah, the 15th and the 16th. If you
yeah.
want
So
UTC.
yeah, it's all in Zulu time anyway. when
Yeah,
they
yeah.
Put it on there. So okay. I'm going to try to build my DX guide. So I'm doing a POTA scramble that week before. Okay.
Ooh.
So I'm going to go, let's see, so today's Friday. So probably sometime middle of next week, I got to watch and see what the weather's doing. I'm going to run up to the deer lease, grab my RV trailer and bring it home. Give it a good clean, wash down, clean out like I do a couple times a year and get it ready and pack all my crap in it. I've got a spot reserved on a park at the north end of Lake Texoma, which is in Oklahoma, for 2 nights. I'm going to be staying Monday, the 10th, and Tuesday, the 11th. On Wednesday, the 12th, I'll drive down to the south end of Lake Texoma, which is in Texas, to another official Parks on the Air park, and I'm going to camp there for 2 nights. So I'm going to spend 2 nights at 2 different parks and activating those parks will obviously be easy. I want to do some like weird activate. I want to see if I can get maybe some 2-meter sideband or 2-meter FM simplex contacts, or
That'd be
maybe
cool.
some 6 meters or something like that. I'm going to try to do some FT8, something that I don't normally do at a POTA activation. Cause I just usually set up 20-meter single sideband phone, make contacts and 15, 20, 30 contacts and jet. That's usually what I do. But I'm going to take my time with it. But I'm going to take my DX Commander with me that week. And if I sit down and I start making contacts, and if I get tired of it for a little bit, or if I do a pile up and then it quiets down and it gets quiet, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go put that DX Commander together. So
it takes a while.
Yeah. I'm going to do it in
couple
stages.
hour
I'm
build.
not going to. Well, see, Matt said it took him 6 hours. Now, I don't know if he was just being overly articulate about it, but
it took me longer than that.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Oh, yeah. I spread it out over quite a few days, though.
Well, see, that's what I'm thinking.
I would just do a couple hours, after work.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about doing.
But
too,
Mike, whenever you set that thing back
Sunday
up,
about that with you too.
What's
that, Frank?
I was going to tell him, Jason, we'll talk about that Sunday.
Okay.
He invited me.
Yeah.
But Mike, whenever you set up that, so what? I guess I'm not understanding what the difference between the regular DX Commanders and the Expedition, and does the Expedition just allow you to set it up quicker because it's got different bands, or what makes the Expedition better to set up for POTA?
I've only set up the Classic a couple times. I brought it out for field day, and I had everything tuned, but for some reason it just was not resonant that day, so I took it down. It has less spreaders in it. It's only got 2 as opposed to 3, and just less holes, so less places to screw things up. I actually really like the Expedition. It just goes together easier because I know where everything, probably because I've done it like 100 times now. But just everything. Hang on, let me grab it.
So the Expedition, does it have? It's got 20, 40. What
I
what
have
band?
40, 20, 17, 15, and 10.
Oh wow!
And I've figured out a way to add another element to it. But this is how I keep it. I just leave everything on it.
Yeah.
But this triangle thing, that's the driven plate, right?
Yeah.
And it's just easier to just know in the field. Like I know that's where my 10 meter goes. It goes on the side. And I build it kind of from the shortest lengths up. But because the spreader, where is it? The spreader, I just keep all the doingies connected to it. This here. So I keep all the doingies connected to it, and I just wrap them up like that.
Right.
So I just immediately know where to go and where
to put
everything, which I'm sure the Classic, I can do that too. But on the Classic, everything is round, where these you kind of just know where things go, not being round.
The Classic is the one I have, which, as I understand it, unless I'm wrong, the Expedition is made to be put up and taken down and taken around with you. The Classic is really more designed to be put up at home and left.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of difference between the two, honestly.
Okay.
Other than, so like I have the 80 meter element on it too, and that's freaking long. So I had to put 2. So I had to put the DX Commander Classic up, and I also brought my MFJ 43-foot mast to use so I could have the 80 meter as an inverted L. So that took me longer to set up. And again, I'm sure if I actually used the Classic more, because I need to label what band goes where through all the different spreader plates and everything.
Right.
And I'm still not done building it. I kind of put it on the back burner for now because I actually need to cut down a tree in my yard where I want to put it, because I've got too many antennas in the yard as is. But I think once I label everything, it really won't be, it'll probably take like 20, 25 minutes to set it up. Just be if I have the 80 meter element on, because I got to guy a whole other telescopic pole. But the Expedition is literally 15 minutes of setup and I'm on the air. It's really quick.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And it's small, it's lightweight. So
So if I was
Well,
going to
and
get
we're
one,
talking about, people are talking about this in the chat, guys. We're talking about two different things here. We're talking about building the antenna the first time, and then we're talking about once we already have it built, setup and takedown. So Mike's talking about 15-minute setup for the expedition. He's already built the thing. He built it and he has it ready to go, and we can take it out. And I haven't built mine yet.
Yeah.
So I bought this from Callum. When I first, it was actually right after Pacifico last weekend. Matt, AE4MQ, Matt, he couldn't stop talking about this DX Commander. So I was like, I've heard of that, but I don't know anything about it. So I looked it up and I watched a couple of Callum's videos, and I sent him an email and said, dude, I want to get one of your antennas and I want to probably just build it on my show. And he knew who I was and reacted like he did. And I knew who I'd seen some of his videos. So he's like, hey, I'll give you a discount. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But I sent him some money for it. And then, of course, me being lazy, like I don't enjoy building antennas. I really don't. What I mean by that is I don't enjoy taking the time to do it. I enjoy the science behind it. I like understanding how everything goes together, but I'm just like, oh, hey, let's get up and build an antenna today. I'm like, let's just put one in the air and get on the air. I don't want to spend 6 hours building an antenna. I'd rather spend 6 hours, making contacts. But to each his own. Everybody's different. It's not a big deal. But then after I got to know Callum and he got into YouTubers Bunch and all this kind of stuff, and he's like, "You've got the classic. Do you ever build that?" I'm like, "No, man, I need to do that. I've just been lazy about it." And he said, "All right, build that one, and then I'll send you an expedition." And I'm like, "Okay, now I have incentive." So I got to do that.
The nice thing about having one built. So when I was building my classic, I just matched the lengths of the radiating elements.
Yeah.
Because I already had them, so that made it go by a bit faster. Plus, I had already built one, so.
But you can kind of choose which bands you build the elements for. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so is it always 5 bands? Just 5 bands of your choice?
So on the expedition, I have 5 bands, but I realized I could add another element, and I might add a 6-meter element because
nice.
Where I have the actual coax connected to. Let me get rid of this background here.
So there's some discrepancy in the chat here. Some people are saying the expedition has 4, but Mike, you're saying it's got 5?
Well, it has 4 wires. But so the 40-meter wire is also resonant on 15 meters.
15.
Right.
Okay.
So,
yeah, 40 and 15 are harmonic.
So I have my SO239 mounted on the bottom here. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I realized I can put another wire right there above it and drill a hole in the spreader and put 6 meters on there. So
6 meters doesn't take much wire either. That's a good idea.
No, the 10-meter wire is stupid small. So
is it?
6 is
Mm-hmm.
So
and
I can
all
do
of
that.
And all of those, so at the very top is all of them. All the elements are held together by or up by shot cord, right?
40 meters goes all the way up and folds back down, and you use those little tubes you slide it over the wire and over the mast, and that's what holds it.
So
and
that's what keeps it from touching the other wire and interacting with the same 40-meter wire that's going straight up, right?
So the wires are spread apart because of the spreaders.
Right, but I'm talking about the 40
meter folds back, and the wire is right on top. I mean, it's literally touching when it folds back down. So
really?
It creates, inductance or something, and is perfectly. I think I have it at like 21,250. I think is where I centered it, 225, something like that. And it's, I mean, it's the whole. Every band is just perfect. It's got a real nice wide bandwidth.
Do you you're using your 5105 with it, right? Primarily, right?
I actually have not used a QRP radio with it yet.
Oh,
I used the first time I used it was the 7300. I took out the 891 the other day.
Okay. I forgot. I keep forgetting you have a 7300 now.
Yeah. I've had that for a while now. About a year and a half.
Yeah, but you're always using the 891 in POTA videos.
Yeah, the 7300 isn't as POTA-able.
No, it's not.
So.
Although that's what I use. I use my 7300 in POTA because I got one of those Harbor Freight fake Pelican cases, and it fits perfectly in that thing.
Oh yeah,
those things are great.
Yeah, I love mine. But okay, so you haven't done QRP on the DX Commander then?
Not yet, no.
Okay. I'd be
I
curious
will.
to
Wait,
see.
did I?
Once you do
No.
that, I'd be curious to see what you think about it.
Yeah, it works great.
I would imagine it'd be the same. I mean, it's
Yeah,
It's a
I'm sure it
freaking
would be. In
awesome
fact,
antenna.
yeah.
I've had people ask me to do a QRP video with it, so I'll probably take the 5105 out one of these days and do it.
Well, you can always take the 5105 out and do some QRP work, and then hook up your Zygu amp to it and do some regular work if you're so inclined.
I can. I have many options. Yes.
Yeah.
I really love just carrying the. That's the X5105 is in there. I mean, it's like holding it with my thumb, and there's like 2 antennas in here. There's a bio battery. Everything is in there. So
I've got it. I bought one of those. I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a dude at Orlando selling used actual Pelican cases.
Yeah, he's at the corner there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I bought one of the ones. It's about the same size as that. The one that the 7300 goes in. It's about about yay big. I can go get it if y'all want to see it. I put all of my QRP rigs in there. I have my KX3, my 5105, and my G90 and a small bag with all the connectors and adapters and everything in it, and the CE9 thing for doing digital and all the wires. So it's all in one case.
Yeah.
No antennas, no batteries or anything, but I've got all my QRP rigs right there. I'm just like picking it up. I was like, okay, let's go.
Doesn't that defeat the purpose of QRP? Because you want to be portable with QRP, and
well, it depends on what
you're
doing.
Bring all of them.
When you live on flat land, it doesn't really matter.
I guess I'm going to bring all my QRP rigs out.
Why not?
Oh, you mean the suitcase?
Originally I thought it would be cool because this was back in February when Orlando Hemcation happened. My wife and I, for 3 or 4 or 5 months prior to that, have had this trip planned. We were going to go to Hawaii, back to Kauai Island on Hawaii in May of this year. Well, of course, that got all kiboshed and everything. But there's a park. There's a Parks on the Air official park, like 40 minutes from the hotel we were going to be staying at. So I'm like, honey, I got to go to the park one day. So I was going to take that's what I was going to carry on the plane. I was just going to take one of the like Adams wire or one of these other, infed 9-to-1 infed half waves or something like that. And I was going to take my, I got those 2 Biono batteries at Orlando as well. I'll take something like that. I was going to take all my QRP rigs because I'm like, I'll sit at a Parks on the Air in Hawaii and I'll make 3 videos for 3 different radios doing QRP Parks on the Air. That's where my mind was at the time. I'm like, why the hell not? When am I going to be back here again? Come on.
Yep.
We go to Hawaii like once every 3 or 4 or 5 years, something like that.
4 or 5 years.
So,
I've never been to Hawaii.
Well, my wife, we've been to Hawaii 3, maybe 4 times. Every time we go, we've flown to Hawaii first class twice. Every time we go, we fly on her airline miles. She used to fly a lot for her job. She still flies a little bit. Well, not now, but she did. And she's got this huge account of airline miles, and she'd always save them up. She's like, we're going to go to Hawaii next year. We're going to fly first class. And I'm like, I love you. So, so every time we've been to Hawaii, we haven't had to pay for flights. And the last time we flew coach, she didn't have enough to buy us first class tickets. We've only done that once. I can't remember if we've been like 4 times. We only flown first class like once, I think. But yeah, we're always flying on miles over there because it's like, whether you connect in LA or not, it's still like 6 hours or something like that.
Yeah. It's a long
but it's
way
nice.
over there.
It's nice. The weathermen out there in Hawaii have the easiest job in the world. All you got to do is wake up in the morning and say, all right, today is going to be a high of 70 chance of rain. Go back to bed.
Well, it's like San Diego, right?
Yeah. Never been to San Diego, but I don't know.
I've been out there 3 or 4 times, and like I get up in the morning, it's 68 degrees, 68 degrees.
Right.
Tomorrow, 68 degrees.
Yeah.
I'm just like, geez, I wonder if it's going to be 68 degrees today.
Gonna be 68 degrees forever.
Forever.
So Mark Wolf says even the 40 meter has shot cord below the top big spreader. He's talking about the Classic. I did not use the doingies on the Classic. Just the fold back with the rubber tubing I find is sufficient. But yeah, that's what Callan recommends to do. I don't necessarily always follow directions so much.
Somebody in the chat was asking about the K6 ARK. That's the K6 ARK. I think it's 16 gauge wire.
No. It's like
it's like
28 or 30.
Is it that
probably
small?
20, yeah.
Jeez, whatever
Yeah.
it is. Okay.
Adam's in the chat. He'll tell us.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, that's the K6ARK portable 9-to-1, I think it is.
That's the random. No, that's the random wire. I think that
Is
he
that the
gave you.
random wire? I don't
Yeah.
know. He sent me one. I haven't used it yet because I haven't done any QRP yet. So I haven't had a need to do QRP quite yet. So
This is
But-
some really thin wire that Adam sent me a link to get, and this is 26 gauge wire.
26.
Yeah,
Adam
that's
says
probably-
This
26.
is the same,
probably what it
I
is.
think, is what's on that.
Yeah. Where'd you get
This
that,
is-
Mike?
Amazon. Where did I get this?
Is it on Amazon?
What? No, it wasn't
This is-
Amazon. It was somewhere else. I forget. This was a while ago. This is probably 6 months ago. It was like
This is
40
really
bucks
cool.
for this
This
roll.
is, I mean, look, I mean, this thing weighs like nothing. I mean, you know, stick that in your pocket, put your QRP rig in your backpack, figure out a battery. This 5105 has a rechargeable battery. You don't even need a freaking external battery.
Nope.
So, and in the KX3, I have a battery in my KX3 also, but
Mark
awesome.
Mark Wolf in the chat. All right, so Adam says it's poly stealth wire. Oh
Yeah, I
yeah,
see
it's,
that.
it's like from Davis Engineering or something like that, if I can remember. And then Mark Wolf in the chat says, I need good wire winders that are cheap. So I'm not
Adam
sure.
Adam
3D
knows
print
where
them.
the wire winders
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
3D
Adam,
print
It's like
them.
this kite company that has the absolute most god awful website on the face of the earth.
just buy them
Like-
on Amazon, dude.
You can't find them.
I found some.
Adam
The
probably
one that
has it
look
on
like
his
this?
YouTube channel.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
might. If not, we need to go at it.
Hold on a
Here,
second.
we need to break
I'm-
into Adam's YouTube account and add that.
I'm almost sure I've got something in my Amazon store.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, those aren't that small.
By the way, quick note: we got to get Kyle some more subscribers.
Yes,
Yeah.
like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe if you want.
What red ones did I have in the back?
Okay,
of
so
my
these
video?
aren't that small, but they have various sizes in there. Those are some. Who was talking in Josh's 3D print chat the other night about printing some of these? Was it Ape?
Yeah.
Somebody
Ape
had
ju-
printed some of these.
Ape
Yeah,
just sent
I-
me a couple of these.
There, yeah, that's the one I'm
Yeah.
thinking of right there.
Just
That's
3D
Well, here,
printed
let
these.
me go get my.
how sturdy are those, Mike, as compared to this one that Adam did?
These are pretty rigid. I literally
Okay.
just got them the other day when he sent
Okay.
me that G90 stand. But
He's supposed to be sending me a G90 stand. Maybe I'll ask him to print me some of those and send them
yeah,
along
he
with
just,
it.
he just sent them. I didn't even ask him for them. I was
Awesome.
a very unexpected surprise. And he sent me.
I
I think you guys saw it. He sent me a bunch of stickers.
That's awesome.
At least they're not gold medal stickers.
But so these are the wire winders that I got from that kite company. This
Oh,
one
that's
was
pretty
like
good.
$7, and then I got I think 4 of these little tiny things
Yeah.
were like $1.50.
Ah,
But yeah, you can't. I looked all over the internet. I searched like kite winder things. I searched Amazon. I just searched Google as a just a broad search. These things are not easy to find. It's crazy.
well, I've ordered my people are saying in the chat, just 3D print them, just 3D print them. I've ordered my 3D printer after Josh's live stream a couple weeks ago. He forced me to order a brand new and spend $300, $400 on a 3D printer. He said, dude, if you want to ever come back on my channel, you have to order. I said, okay, Josh, I'll order a 3D printer. But I ordered that Prusa 2 or whatever it was, the smaller one. And
Sure.
but it won't be here till like mid-September.
You got the Prusa
Oh,
Mini or the
Mini.
Prusa? Yeah, the Mini.
No,
Okay.
not the i3, the newer one that I was talking to Loyal about it, and he's like, yeah, he's like, it's very solid. It's not as solid as i3 because it hadn't been out as long. There's still some bugs in it, but they do firmware updates all the time. He's like, you're gonna be okay. It's a good, and it's half the price of the i3. So I'm like, okay. I've been looking at the i3 for literally about 2 to 3 years. And Prusa's a good name. You talk to anybody about 3D printing and you say the name Prusa, you're like, oh yeah, those are good. Those are good.
So I have
So-
I have a Prusa.
Do you? Okay.
Uh-huh. Yep.
I know Ape has that cheap one, but I don't remember what
Yeah.
it's called right now. But he seems to be happy with it though. He seems to be turning out some good prints with it. Anyway, I'm gonna start doing some. I've been wanting to do some 3D printing for a while anyway.
You
And,
know, it's like anything else. You could have a $10,000 radio, or you could have a $500 radio, you're still going to make contacts. You're still going to
True.
print some stuff out, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
So
What's everybody
going back
this
a
is
little
spo-
bit?
It's supposed to be a
Alex-
happy hour. What's everybody drinking?
I have to go get another one. What a great segue.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Hey, Kyle, you need one too.
Well, yeah, I'm all empty. I need to refill.
I've got a great Notion Brewing from Portland, a sticky bun.
So where do you get all these? You have like a Friar Tuck's or a
No,
or a
I do trading.
Total Wine or something? No.
We have Total Wine here. Yeah, we have Total Wine. There's a couple of independently owned and operated joints that I prefer to shop at. And quite frankly, the last time I was in Total Wine, I was a little bit disappointed with their craft beer selection.
Yeah, it's not the best, but it's not like
No.
Friar Tuck's. Do you guys have Friar Tuck's down there?
We don't have
No.
those. I don't know what that is.
It's a specialty beer store where they import.
We have a place that's just right across the highway from me called Hall's Grocery. It's been there it's a staple in this area. It's been there for 20 or 30 years. And they passed a new Texas has really weird ass liquor laws, but they passed a new liquor law for the city that Hall's Grocery is in, like 5 or 6, 7 years ago, that would finally allow them to sell hard liquor. It used to be you have to drive around and find hard liquor. So when they passed the hard liquor law, Hall's, who had sold craft beer for years and years, remodeled their entire store, and now they sell everything. And they've expanded their craft beer selection. So pretty much anything that you can get in Texas is you can get there. But this stuff was sent to me by Chris from Buddy Pole, who lives outside of Portland. He and I trade beers all the time.
And
Did he
being
put
in
a
the
bird on
Dallas area, there are so many breweries that are around that you can hit any of them up. There's a ton of
Yes,
them.
yeah, but the breweries are going to sell their own stuff, right? So
yes, you're not going to get. I'm just saying that there's a lot of them around.
Oh
area.
yeah, yeah.
get
You're not going
whatever
to have
you
trouble
want.
finding craft beer around here. That just doesn't happen. But if you want something that's something that's kind of unique and unobtainium in Texas, you can't buy this stuff anywhere in Texas.
I bet y'all can guess what I'm drinking.
Whiskey, bourbon.
Yep. You got some Knob
Oh, Knob Creek. Yeah, that's good
single
stuff.
barrel, 120 proof, small batch.
What'd you go get, Mike?
I got a Labatt Blue Citra IPA. I'm posting some links. Adam just put them in the Discord. I'm posting some links to the wire winders.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh, good.
You got it.
Things.
You got it. I was just going to post that.
Yeah. So try and go to this website without the link and search for these things, and it is impossible.
So going back a couple topics ago, we were talking about go bags for hiking and everything, and I'm putting together my own, and mine is going to be a side saddle bag. I'm going to have the radio in, and my first HF radio is going to be a mobile radio, which I want to put in that bag. I already got the battery. I already have the extension feed lines. I just need the antenna, and I'm probably going to pick up one of these winders once I figure out what type of antenna I want.
Which radio are you thinking about, Frank?
An Icon something or other, probably getting one of the older ones.
7,000.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which I think you
7,000.
have a couple of them, and you sing
do.
their praises all the time.
I
about
do.
them.
I love the 7th. I actually have 2 of them. I have one in my truck and one behind the curtain here.
Mhm.
And then I have a third one that I bought at a Hamfest, and I took to a buddy of mine to look at, because the guy at the Hamfest sold it to me. He's like, okay, look, HF is fine, 6 meters is fine, 70 centimeters is fine. For whatever reason, it won't produce RF on 2 meters. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And it was he had discounted it quite a bit.
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay, that's so I took it to a buddy of mine to have him look at, and if he can fix it for a reasonable price, Frank, that might be the HF 6 meter portion on it works great.
Mhm.
So, but I'm sure he can. I bet he can fix it. I'll hit you up later and let him.
Yep.
I need to follow
That's
up.
probably going to be my first
Yeah.
go bag, and I'm going to have it all set up on my desk upstairs to use.
Mhm.
And then when I need to throw it in the bag, I just unhook it, put it in the bag, and take off with it. I'm
Mm.
really disappointed in the bag I chose, though. I love the bag. It's my camera bag. You've seen it left and right, Jason.
Yeah.
I was hoping that I can attach it to a backpack, so I don't have to have it slung around on my shoulder and then carry a backpack also.
What radio do you have at home, Frank?
None hooked up. If you
Hooked up.
Yeah, I have all the HTs left and right around,
Yeah.
but I don't have a HF radio. That is, I've said before on the air, I'm gonna still hold myself to it. First quarter of next year, I want to get an HF radio antenna installed and all the wiring and everything for it.
You need a radio to go with that too, though.
Yep. Well, that's going to be that 7,000. Thanks to
There you go.
Josh's stream on grounding. I already have a good idea what I was going to do before that stream, and that stream just re-solidified it on how I'm going to ground. He said the worst case scenario is if you're on the second floor of a structure and the grounding pole's on the other side. That's the worst case for grounding, and guess what I got? That.
Sucks.
So my plan is I'm going to do a grounding rod at the base of the house where all the radios are going to be at, and then run a copper wire around the house doing grounding rods every 15 feet until I get to the common ground for the house.
So if you want to
That's gonna
learn
be fun.
everything about grounding, Ward Silver has put out a book called Bonding and Grounding. It's made by produced by the ARL. It will tell you everything that you ever want to know and then some about bonding and grounding.
Dave
follow
Castler
that
has
to-
some. Yeah, Dave Castler has some good videos also.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You follow that book. Follow that book to the T. And granted, you're not going to, if you have a direct hit, nothing's going to save that, right?
Yeah, of course.
Right, correct.
All you're doing is the close hits where you're building up RF charge.
Static charge.
Yep. That's what I'm sorry, static charge. And then to comment on radioactive on the chat, Fireball, heck no. No Fireball.
Oh, Fireball's good.
No. My
No?
dad loves pulling out the Fireball. Let's do some Fireball shots.
Get your pull.
No. I
You
rather
Texas
sip my
boys should know
whiskey.
what that means.
Yeah.
Get your pull.
Get your pole.
Get your pull.
Something that people in Arkansas say.
No, that's Texas all the way, man. That's Dimebag Darrell from Pantera.
Dime. The Pantera
Yeah.
dude.
Isn't
Yeah,
he the one
that guy's been he hadn't been around in a while. So
Well, it's someone, he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
I know
right?
that's why I said he hadn't
Yeah.
been around in a while. Yeah.
Mike in the chat, N8 YO, he says,
Yeah.
I'll be fine. That plan is probably good enough for me. I just now need to execute it. I do have one large grounding wall.
Yeah.
I need 2, 3, 4 more to get around my house.
Getting
do you
dark
guys-
outside, Frank.
Do
Yeah,
any
I'm
of you
about to move
guys-
to the side of the table.
Yeah. You're fading into the ether there.
Yep, I'll be
Do-
right back.
Do any of you guys have insurance on any of your rigs?
No.
Okay, isn't that in your homeowners?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Is it in your homeowners or is it a special policy? What if you take it out of your house and something happens to it?
Oh, yeah, that
If-
would not be covered anymore out of the house.
I would think that would vary by state. And in Texas, if I have equipment in my vehicle is part of that's called a homestead exemption. So anything that gets stolen in or damaged while it's in my vehicle is covered under my homeowner's policy homestead exemption. Now, that wouldn't apply if I was going to take the radio and put it in a backpack and hike up a mountain. But if it's in my vehicle, it's covered under my homeowner's policy, yes. I have a pretty big deductible, so...
Yeah, so
It's-
what would happen if you had lightning hit your house or lightning hit close and it blow up, let's say 2 or 3 of your radios? What would you do? You just
I-
buy new
I'll let
radios?
I would file an insurance claim, but I have a pretty large deductible, so it kind of depends on which radio's burned up. So
Like what if your Flex burned up?
my Flex is probably less than my deductible.
Ah.
Oh, you
So
can
I'd
go and
probably
get what's
have to-
called statement value insurance. You can give them a spreadsheet of what you,
You
want
can't-
covered and how much it's worth
Yes,
to you.
yes, you can. You
And
can.
then
You
I
can
have-
also unplug your antennas.
Well, I always do that. I mean, that's not, I've got antenna switches and I turn all my computers off and blah, 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 blah. I always do that. But I mean, that like you guys said a minute ago, you get a direct hit. It's probably not going to matter. You're going to get some sort of EMP stuff or something in here if it hits close enough. So,
but Steve, on your homeowners, did you? So you're saying you can give them like serial numbers and how much it's, and then say, hey, I need a little bit more coverage. Give me some more love.
Yes, and then they will charge you for it.
Yeah,
and they will
Imagine that.
I used to have that for my vehicle way back when I first got into it. I did have that. I had a policy lined out with like 2 or 3 radios on it and the serial numbers and everything. And realistically, it was like $16 more per every 6 months. It was like nothing. And I kept that for a while. And then, I got married and I changed insurance policy. I never renewed that, but I should probably go back and look at that again. That's a good, that's usually not very expensive. Or at least it didn't used to be. I haven't looked at it in a while.
I wonder if how that applies to my remote station. Not at my house.
That's what Don's asking about in the chat. What about your flex and coast?
Yeah, he's asking about the one.
Yeah, how do you do that?
So
I don't
also
know.
keep in mind that you're going to get infiltration not just from EMP, but you'll get it across the power lines too. I lost a computer because the power supply blew a capacitor when lightning hit the area.
Yeah. I know the ARL has insurance. It's like $1,000 for. It's $15 for each $1,000, I think, or something like that. So
I don't know. They probably have more than one type of insurance, but I'm the treasurer for our local club.
Yeah.
And we have ARRL. I don't remember if it's repeater insurance or tower insurance, but it covers our tower site, which we don't own. It's a city tower that the city allows us to put our equipment out, but it covers our repeater, antenna, feed line, everything. Covers everything there. It's $200 a year. It's like,
yeah,
of course we're going to do that.
Right.
So, but it's got, but it only covers that one. Well, it might cover both of I think it covers both of our repeat. We have 2 repeater sites. I think it covers both of them, but I don't know about any because our EOC is at a fire station in that city. And I don't know. And we've got a couple of small antennas on top. They won't let us put up tall antennas on top of the fire station EOC, but the ARRL insurance covers quite a bit and it's not very expensive. So, but it is club insurance. It's under the club calls the ARRL affiliated club and call sign.
Yeah.
So I think that makes a difference. And I don't know about, individual private stations. I don't know. They might have something.
Don says inland marine insurance. I don't know what that is. I mean, it's obviously a type of insurance.
Yeah.
I wrote it down to do some research because I'd like to have something that covers my radio because my Flex is at my parents' house, and if that thing goes to crap, what happened? I mean, that is a very, very expensive radio.
How much is a Flex? Aren't they like $5 or $6 grand?
No, it's $2,000.
$2,000, but there's
$2,000.
So the 6400 is $2,000, the 6600 is $5,000, and the 6700 is $7,000.
But then you got to get that.
Right. That's not right.
You got to get that Maestro screen thing.
You don't have to.
You don't have to get them.
But you're going to.
So the 66,
guarantee you, Johnny's going to have a video in a month with that screen.
Yeah. So the 6600 is $4,000, not $5,000. The 6700, I think, is 5,500.
No.
Or something like
I did
that.
not pay. I did not. I did not pay that little for my 6700.
Oh, you have a 6700?
Yeah.
He doesn't mess around.
Well, their Power Genius amplifier is $7,000, and I was thinking that all the radios were cheaper than that. But I know for sure the 6600 non-M version is $39.99.
What does the M get you?
The M is a Maestro built into the front of the radio. So you can buy a Maestro that's separate. Mine's over there. You can buy a Maestro that's separate. It's about $12.99, or you can buy an M version of the 64 or 6600, and the M version is $1,000 more.
Right.
The
Yeah.
non-M version. So you save about $300 by buying the M version, but then you can't take the Maestro off the front of the radio and take it with you.
Yeah, that
so you
thing's
don't get
sweet.
the
You had that when you were up here.
Yeah, it's pretty
and
freaking
That
cool.
is a real. It's
yeah,
really
I love it.
freaking cool.
It's awesome because with that one Maestro, I can connect to any Flex radio in the world. And connect to my home station, my Costa Rica station. If Kyle gave me access to his station, I could connect over there. So
is that a hint?
Yeah, we've talked about that before.
Don's only used his Maestro twice.
So
wow. So you just hook those radios. You just hook those radios up to a monitor basically and control everything like that.
Flex,
is that the idea?
The Smart SDR software for Flex Radio is free.
Mm-hmm.
The Windows software for Smart SDR, it's called Smart SDR. It's made by Flex Radio. The Windows-based software is free. Everybody could go download it right now and install it, and it's free. There's no licensing to it. You couldn't do anything unless you had a radio to connect to it. But what I've told people, and we talked about this on the YouTubers Hamfest, is it'd be an awesome idea for those clubs out there that have a really good EOC with a decent antenna. Have the guys in the club pitch in, or, have the club pay for a radio. Go buy a radio, Flex Radio, install it at your club, put it on your best HF antenna that's at the clubhouse or EOC or whatever. And then all of your club members go download Smart SDR on their home computers for free, create a general login, and everyone can log into the radio and use it. Not all at the same time. Usually it's limited to about 2 users for a SO2R type situation, but you can have everyone from anywhere with an internet connection connect to that radio and use it. So if you got 10 guys that want to use a centralized radio at just random times, take 10 guys, go buy a 6600. That's $4,000. That's $400 each times 10 people. Go download the software for free, and everybody can use it whenever they want to, as long as there's no more than 2 people using it at a time.
Yep.
So it's got it. It's
2
really
people can use the radio at the same time.
Yep.
Like actually transmitting and all that.
Well, it doesn't so it does a time thing. So if you and I are both on there at the same time, I'm on 40 meters, you're on 20 meters, then the radio, like if I'm on say we're using the software on the computer, the software will tell me when you're transmitting.
Okay.
So when you're transmitting and I'm receiving on 40 meters, you're transmitting on 20 meters. I can still receive while you're transmitting, but then the radio tells me, oh, he's done transmitting, so now I can key up. It's an SO2.
Oh, wow.
It's an SO2
That's
2R
pretty
situation.
slick.
It's pretty cool the way it works.
Yeah.
For
so in fact,
$4,000, it's better.
Well, you can do it with the 6400, which is only $2,000, but you can only receive 2 bands at the same time. With the 6600, you and I, as 2 transmitters, could both receive 2 bands at the same time. It has 4 slices on it instead of 2.
No, the 67 has.
Wow.
Yeah, the 67 has
8.
4 slices.
8. The 67 has 8 slices.
I know. It's 66 has 4. The 64 has 2.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Unless I said it wrong, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Yes. So
You got to be a serious contester or something to really need that, though.
Yeah. Or
Like,
just,
I'm good with the AB button on the
or just-
7300.
Or just a retired dude with a lot of money,
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're gonna do it, somebody who wants to do contesting and wants to get serious into it, they need a 6600, at least a
Correct.
6600.
Agreed. If you and I, if the YouTubers bunch as a whole went in, so if one of us had a piece of land somewhere, and we decided we wanted to put up a 200 or 300 foot tower with a kick-ass tri-band on top of it, or a stepper or something like that, we spent all this money and we put a 6600 on it, then 2 of us could realistically operate by monitoring 2 separate bands at the same time and transmitting, not at the same time, but it would tell us when we could transmit. And we could seriously do an SO2R contest that way. And if you're talking about, 300 foot tower with the big stepper on top of it and a rotor and all the lightning stuff and some really good hard line to the antenna, it's like, why wouldn't you do that? I mean, if I had the access to do something like that, I'd already have it in the air. So
Yeah. I mean, it'll be all of ours, but we'll keep it at my house.
We need to put a flex at Steve's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go.
We're actually talking about doing that at my deer lease. As soon as we get it, like we're me and the deer hunting guys that I hunt
I thought
with.
you were going to say me and the deer.
No, me and the guys that I hunt with, we're talking about having electricity. And I had the electric company come out and quote me on electricity installed. And because it's just a piece of land. There's nothing out there. We got our travel trailers. We use generators. We bring our own water in. So we talked about getting a pole dropped, and we got a quote on that last year. It's actually not that expensive. So we're talking about getting a pole dropped before season this year, probably in like October or something like that. And if I do that, then all the guys that came to field day were like, one of the guys was like, oh, I've got 50 foot of Roan tower. I'll give you. I'm like, cool. You bring the tower out. We'll dig a hole. We'll all come out here and put the tower up. I've got a tri-band antenna we'll put on it, and if there's electricity out here, we can, there's a mesh node on a 2,000 foot tower that's not that far away that we can bring in internet signal from, and we can log in remotely. So it's going to be a while before we make it happen, but it would be awesome if we could make that happen.
Heck yeah.
Because then I could go and I could take my 1,200 watt amplifier out there and make sure it's grounded properly. But ain't nobody around for miles, dude. I don't care about people's TVs being jacked up or whatnot. There's nobody around out there.
Until they pull a transformer off another pole that's been out there for 20 years.
I mean, I might blow something up down the line, I guess, but ain't neighbor's going to come knocking on my door saying,
well, that's not your problem either. That's on the receiving equipment.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But
we went out and operated portable for Missouri QSO thinking, oh, the nearest power line's 3 miles away. Yeah. That thing had the worst transformer on the end of that.
Wow.
You're like, why do we have an S5 of noise out in the middle of nowhere?
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So
I don't have a bad noise floor here at my house. Like 20 meters, I'm like S1, S2, 40, I might be at like S3.
Wow.
Mine's I think mine is a grounding issue because I can fire up the Maestro and have no noise. And then I go inside and I come back and I'm like, there's noise now. Where did that come from? If I turn the Maestro off and turn it back on, the noise is gone. I'm like, okay, I don't have something properly grounded, I think.
It's running Windows, isn't it?
I've just got this RNL Electronics. This is a grounding truss. I'm going to put that under the desk back here. Run it out.
Pascal has one of those in the back of his.
So what's that? What's all involved in that grounding truss? Out of curiosity,
it's just a copper plate with wing nuts on it.
Oh,
so
cool.
I'm gonna mount it to the wall back there. I've already got my ground rod planted in the ground out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna drill a hole in that side of the shack and run some braided wire in here and connect it to one of these, this on the end, and then I'll connect all my radios to this, and that's where the ground will go out there.
So if I get that IC-7000, I don't need to worry about grounding on that, or does it have a grounding?
It has a grounding stud on the back of it. You don't have to worry about grounding so much if you're doing portable work.
Not portable work, but when I have it wired up in the house.
Yes, when you have it fired, yeah.
Because it's going to live up there, but when I want to go on trips or whatever, I'll just unplug it, throw it into the go bag, and I'll be good
That's
to go.
That's a great theory. In reality, you're gonna talk yourself into buying a second radio. So, it's a great plan.
Yeah.
It's a great plan to think that way, but yeah, just get a second radio.
I don't have anything grounded, and I have almost no noise, so I know I should, but
well, it just again, it just depends on where you are, how close, whether your neighborhood has overhead power lines or buried power lines, how
there's a power line coming in the back of my house, like pretty much
see,
right
we don't
where
have
my
power
shack
lines.
is.
Yeah, we don't have power lines in my neighborhood, but there's power lines in the neighborhood back there. But I've never really noticed much noise from them, really. I do want to do the thing that Josh is talking about and turn my radio on and go shut my entire breaker box off and look at the radio and then turn breakers on one by one and see what I want to do that just because I think it'd be fun to do.
Yeah.
Mike, do you live in a subdivision with lots of houses?
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of this place is populated like crazy. And this area is kind of old. All the houses in my area are probably built in the late 40s or 50s. These were all what we in Michigan call cottages. So I'm right on. There's nothing but lakes around me. So back in the day, people that used to live like in Detroit proper would come out to the suburbs, like where I live in the surrounding areas, and this would be like their weekend getaway kind of homes. Now we do that, but we go up north. to the cottage. Like my brother has a cottage, is a 4,000 square foot house on a lake. So I was just there a couple weeks ago. But
your brother with the brewery.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is that your only brother?
Yes.
Okay.
That I know of.
I found that I've still got that little 32-ounce growler in my closet in there. I was digging through my
Nice.
growlers the other day. I'm like, oh, there's the Nectar growler. I need to keep that.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
It is. Yeah. I enjoyed that place. It was a good place.
Your brother owns a brewery?
He actually makes mead. It's called Bee
mead.
Nectar Meadery, and he does a lot of. He doesn't really do too many still meads anymore. He does a lot of like lower alcohol, like 6-7%, which is low for a mead, and they're mostly carbonated. Different styles of mead. It's not just honey, water, and yeast. So he's got one called Zombie Killer. That's his most popular one, that's it's like honey, I think Michigan cherry juice, and something else I don't remember, but he's got another one that's my favorite called Kill All the Golfers from Caddyshack. So like all of his labels and stuff are they're all like they're very like movie inspired, and I'm a big movie geek and I can quote a lot of movies and stuff, and he's kind of the same way. So
Turning Point out here has a lot of names from Rick and Morty. So
I could not have a conversation about Rick and Morty.
Neither could I, but I'm told that that's what all the. I was like, what does that mean? I was like, oh, they did have one called Endgame that came out the weekend of the last Avengers movie, and then they had another one called something about the Last Jedi, but it wasn't called the Last Jedi. I don't remember what it was now. But they do stuff like that. But no, that meadery was played. I was in Michigan in September of last year for the Tapper Digital Communications Conference, and Mike he came up there to the hotel that we were doing the conference at, and picked me up and took me to the meadery, and I think it was Friday night. And that was cool. That was a cool place. They got a really cool sitting area in there, and his brother took me around and showed me about distilling and everything. They built, Frank, you would love that place, man. He's got like Raspberry Pis running all the crap back there, and he's like, this thing
that's awesome.
sends me a text.
Arduinos, actually.
Arduinos. Yeah, he's like, this one
Even
sends
better.
me a text if the temperature gets too high, and if the motor stops running over here, it sends me a text. I'm like, dude,
he wrote all the software
you're
for it.
such a nerd, man. I love this.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
He's got like temperature sensors on the Arduinos on the tank.
It's really cool.
It's crazy.
So you guys ever get up to Detroit, hit up Mike. That's a great place to go.
I put a website in the chat there.
Cool.
But yeah, they got some. He's pretty much all over the country. If anywhere that sells good craft beer, that's who. When I used to work for him, and he still does. I would go to all the craft beer stores and kind of launch the brand, and that's who they target. They don't. You won't find him in the wine section. He'll be with the craft beers.
I've not seen them down here. The only reason I know who they are is because of you. So I've not seen that brand. I mean, we're about as far south as you can get from Michigan, but in the United States. But I've not.
He might not be in Texas. I'd be surprised if he's not. But
I've not. Well,
he's like in other countries. He's in like Europe.
Really?
And, oh yeah.
I'll have to go double check. I remember looking for him shortly after I learned who they were, and I couldn't find them, but I'll go look again.
Go to their website, because he should have like a locator. At least he did when I worked there. I mean, I haven't worked there since 2009, but he should. I haven't looked at the website in a while either, but yeah.
All right. Cool.
So yeah,
my wife would like that stuff too.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
It is. It's sweet, carbonated, sweet, non-beer heavy type alcohol that's not overly some of it's probably overly sweet, but most of it, the stuff I tried, was not overly
they're
sweet.
not even the still meads.
Yeah.
When he first started the company, he just had 4 still meads, and they weren't really overly sweet compared to other meads.
Yeah.
Which is like that was kind of a thing we had to. A lot of people have had mead before and they were turned off because it was just so cloyingly sweet.
Yeah.
And his were a little drier in comparison. So it really took off. And then he started doing flavors and stuff, and eventually started carbonating things. And that, like, the zombie killer is by far his number one. Like, he could stop production of everything and just make a living off of that. But the kill all the golfers is an Arnold Palmer mead. And I love Arnold Palmer's, so that's why that's my favorite one. But it's got a, like, if you look at the label, it's a gopher driving a golf cart, and it's it's straight out of Caddyshack. Kill all the golfers. If we do that, they'll lock me up and throw away the key.
Yeah.
So he's got another one called Necro Mango Con. That's inspired by what is it? Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all kinds of stuff like that.
We have a place in Grapevine here called Outlaw Cidery. It's a cidery that they do ciders and whatnot. And then there's another couple of cideries down in Austin, and the one in Grapevine here imports their stuff, and you've got 2 or 3 guest taps, and they make their own ciders and whatnot. But those are good. That like that Red's apple ale that you can buy in the store. That stuff's really sweet. It's not very good, but this stuff right here, this is really. I was like, they've got a blackberry or black cherry cider and a sour apple cider and a sweet apple cider and there's
love sour. That sounds good.
Yeah, and they're really good. They've got a good flavor without being too sweet. So I've been really impressed. But we don't really have a meadery around here that I've.
We don't
not
either.
a lot of them.
No, we don't have one.
No. So
Hey guys, I gotta roll.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a 7-3
Goodbye.
also.
I'm
right,
gonna
guys.
Till later.
leave.
later.
Dropping like
Thanks for hanging
flies.
tonight.
Yeah.
Finally.
Hey, it's 7:00 in California. Maybe we can try to get Bob and Josh and other
are they?
Jason. I don't know.
Do you guys see this stand that Ape printed
Is
me?
that the one that Ape sent you? That's
Yeah.
pretty.
Let me
That's
get out
pretty
of the way.
slick, man. Yeah.
It folds back so like it can lay flat, so it it can be portable. It doesn't just sit like that. So it is. I really like it.
Whenever it lays flat, what do you mean it lays flat? Is there adjustable screws on it?
Hang on, and I will get it.
I don't understand. You're gonna have to show me.
Yeah, I didn't get that either because I thought it was all 3D printed in like one case and whatnot. So
Ooh, this is awesome. So the one that he made, I didn't like that because it was just a stand. And I'm like, I don't want that. I'm
got the
portable.
you got the smaller one.
There's a bunch. If you go to what is it, Thingiverse or whatever, and just
Thingiverse.
type in Zygo G90.
Yeah.
There's 5 or 6 different stands that you can
Yeah.
3D print for the G90. So
But that's the one he said he's
This is
well
the
no,
one.
it's not that one, it's the other one that he said he's printing for me.
Oh,
So-
it just attaches
So that
to
one's
the thing.
that one's just
Yeah.
that one's just a swivel is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I
it
see.
does that.
That's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But wait a minute.
That's the one thing I hate about this radio is it just lays flat. Like, why
You know
would
what?
you make
You're-
a radio without a kickstand?
You're gonna have that problem with the 705. Did you notice in all the videos that I saw, they're all propping it up.
Oh,
They're
well,
all-
I saw it in
Yeah.
Florida, and I asked Ray about, and he said they in my interview, I think he says that he said they were working on some things, which apparently isn't going to happen, but it's got that, it's got the camera, the quarter 20 screw on the bottom, so you can mount it on a little tripod or something. So that's not really a big deal.
Oh,
would
it's
be
got
nice
a
if it
tripod
had-
mount on. Oh, that's
On the
gonna-
bottom, yeah.
That's gonna be. That's right. That's right. He had that in Orlando. I forgot
Mhm.
about that.
Yeah.
I forgot
And they've
about
shown
that.
it on a
They
little
have.
portable
Yeah.
tripod,
Yeah.
Oh.
just the tiny little thing, and you screw it to that, and you're off to the
I've got
races.
it. I'm
afraid
I've
it'd be top heavy though.
tripod.
Oh, dude, it's not heavy at all, man.
It's
No,
not
no, I
heavy
mean
at all.
top heavy. Like if you don't have a base stand that's got a wide base on it, that thing, if you tilt it,
Nah.
it'll
Nah.
top
I don't
over.
think so.
Nah,
I don't.
no,
think
that
so.
radio doesn't weigh anything.
If you are a serious YouTuber, you should not have a tripod that falls over from the weight of that radio.
The 705 does not have legs, Aldi Moore.
Well, I will go on record that I probably will not be buying a 705. So
I don't think I'm
I
going
don't
to get
have to
one
have
when
that
it comes
problem.
out originally.
Yeah. I've already got. I've had mine on order for months. So
I would like to have one, but it's not like I have 3 other QRP radios.
yeah.
So, I mean, I've thought about selling those. I kind of was building up a little fund, but my car decided that it wanted $640 worth of repairs that I just paid for today. So,
it's so fun.
and I think that radio is going to be about $1,200 from what we've kind of heard through the pipeline.
Yeah.
So
well, and
I'm sure I will have one at some point, though.
Yeah. I built my channel off of doing new radio reviews, and I didn't do a new radio review for any of the Zygu models, and I kind of regret it.
My G90 in-depth review video is still my most popular video.
I've watched that video 2 or 3 times. You did a fantastic job on going through all the menus and showing what all the knobs do. And I'm just like, I watched that video the first time. I'm like, what the hell do I need to make this for? I mean, Mike's already done. I'll just make one. I'll make a G90 video and say, okay, here's my G90 video. Click here. See ya. You know, I mean.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, I kind of was late to the party with a lot of these reviews.
Yeah,
like Eric has done a video on like every radio that I've done.
Yeah. That doesn't always matter.
So my thing is like, we all have our own like view on it.
Right.
And our own personality and our own way of filming and this, that, and the other thing. And Eric does a fantastic job of all of his stuff. I love his channel. Even the recent RS 918, which I actually have one of those. I haven't done a review on it, but I freaking love that video. And I watched that not Adam. 8060M sent me his RS 918.
Yeah, that's
his name. Tom?
No, I thought his name was Adam also, actually.
Yeah, I did.
No, we joke and call him Adam.
Oh, yeah, because his call
sign looks
like Adam.
Like Adam, yeah.
Yeah.
And
but you know, whenever I go and buy a new, or if I'm going to buy a new radio, I'm going to watch.
Dennis,
maybe that's
Jesus.
Just me.
Dennis.
I've
been talking
to Dennis in a Slack group for like 2 years. I'm embarrassed that I just had a brain fart.
Forgot his name.
Because I thought of Adam.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of funny because when I'm in a Slack group called JerryNet with him when Jerry was kind of still making videos, KG6 HQD. And we were all calling him Adam just because we're looking at his freaking call sign. And it's just like when you look at 8060M, you just see that 6 is an A and it's just like dyslexia. So so we jokingly call him Adam, but then Adam K6ARK came into the Slack group, and we.
How much is the G90?
Like $450.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, you can. Connect Systems has been running a special here lately. You can get it for about $4.25.
And it's QRP, right?
It's 20 watts, but yes,
20 watts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You guys, I don't think you heard me, but whenever going back to, why don't you just go ahead and make a review video? Whenever I buy a radio, or I'm going to go and buy a radio, I'll watch 20 videos on it. Yeah. I'll watch all the videos.
Yeah.
I'll just put them in a playlist and just play them all.
Yeah. I do the same thing. I mean, I want to know, you know what? And a lot of the times if I'm late to the party, like I was talking to Josh the other day and he's like, are you going to do he asked me, are you going to do a 705? And I'm like, yeah, I've had a 705 on order. I was supposed to have a 705 at Dayton or a month before
Dayton. People were.
Yeah. Okay. So I've had my 705 on order that long. I talked to the guys at R&L in Orlando in February about it. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to make a 705 video, but I'm not, okay, Eric has made one and his was the Japanese model and somebody else made one and that's okay. And I'm like, I'm not going to rush I got to get the first one on YouTube. I don't really care about that. No. I'm just going to take it when I get it. I'm going to take it out. I'm going to take it out probably with this antenna right here and
You
or maybe
can't.
with,
That doesn't
maybe,
have a tuner.
maybe with a resonant antenna. But I've got to, you know what? If it's got the same tuner plug on the back that every other Icom has, I've already got like 2 tuners that'll work with it. So
I didn't see a tuner plug.
It's got to have a tuner plug, man. If it doesn't have an internal, it's got to have a hookup for an external in tuner.
I didn't see one.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you don't really need one. You would like my MFJ
No.
939 auto tuner.
Yeah.
You can connect it to your radio, or you can use it in sticky mode and just like it just kind of senses that it's there and does it automatically. You just got to push.
So it's just a coax feed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would imagine. I mean,
well, you can do
I don't
that
know.
too.
Or just get a resonant antenna.
Yeah. Yeah. And that may be what I do. I've got a couple of resonant antennas around here. It's not a problem. Anyway, I'm just going to probably just go out and take it and do a POTA with it. And I mean, I'll do a video that says, okay, here's the menu. Here's what you do. I want to do a D-Star video with it, with my OpenSpot 3, and connect it to my DMR network and check into the DMR net, our weekly DMR net. I'm talking on the 705 right now. What?
Yeah,
How are you doing that?
I'm excited for the radio.
Yeah.
I'm excited to have 2-meter sideband is probably one of the bigger things. It is.
Yes.
I don't care that much, but it is kind of a letdown that it doesn't have an internal tuner.
That's like the
Because
only bad thing I can find about it. Without having one in my hand and actually going through it, that's like the only bad thing I can find about it. The fact that it has the external internal battery. It has the battery that fits on the back of it. You don't have to take it apart and put the battery inside of it like a KX model. Okay,
And you can
or
just
like
plug
a
it in
51
and charge it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. You take the battery off and you put it in the charger, and then you
I think
the
you can
battery out of
plug
the
a
charger.
battery into the
2 batteries.
thing.
Yeah.
But if you have like a BioEnno or something, you can plug it into the radio.
Yes.
And I think it'll charge the battery while you're.
I believe it will. I believe
but
that's
that
right.
battery lasts. If you watched Eric's video when him and Jan and that other guy went portable with it, they were using it for hours.
Yeah.
And
especially sideband.
Battery, so
everyone's saying, everyone in the chat's blowing up. It has a tuner plug.
It does have a tuner.
Okay.
I didn't see one, but
since it does, well, okay. So the one they had at Orlando was a prototype, and they said that this was not the final version.
No.
Okay. I don't remember seeing one either, but I wasn't looking for one at the time. So if it doesn't have an internal tuner, which we all know it doesn't, it's almost got to have a plug for an external tuner. Otherwise, I'm
Mike
like,
Smith said it's got an 1/8-inch tuner plug. So
yeah, it's probably the
just
same.
a TRS or something.
It's probably the same plug that the 7000, 7100, 72, 7300 have. Just Icom's had the same external tuner plug for who knows how long, but same plug on the 706 Mark II G. The 7300 and the 706 Mark II G have the same tuner plug. So
I couldn't even tell you what it looks like, and I have a 7300. I've never plugged the.
It's got 4 prongs in the back, and it's squared on one side, and it's like triangled on the other side.
Yeah, the 705 definitely does not have that plug.
Well, okay. If it has some sort of plug.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, some of these plugs that these radios use are so freaking antiquated.
Yeah.
It's like, get with the times. Put a freaking, if you're going to let me connect it to a monitor, they're still using like VGAs. Like,
I know it, yeah.
Put a freaking HDMI on it.
HDMI, yeah.
And those big freaking, I don't even like USB version 1 big square cables. Like, put a regular USB on it. You know, it's like,
yeah. Oh, the square one. So it's like a USB or something like that.
Something, the big ones. Yeah, they're stupid. But whatever.
Yeah.
Well, putting an Ethernet jack on the back of a radio was, what are you doing that for? Why do you need that? You don't need an Ethernet jack on the back of that radio. You know, it's innovation, right? I am appalled at the websites and how long radios stick around in ham radio land. You know, they're 10 and 15 years old. You know, I get a phone every year, right?
Right.
Yeah, but there's not that many people buying radios compared to almost anything else.
Well, I don't mind that. I don't mind the stuff. I don't mind the stuff sticking around a long time. That doesn't bother me. I mean, if you buy a radio and 10 years from now it's still viable, I think, in fact, there's a whole vintage group out there that uses radios from
Yeah.
the 60s and 70s, and they're still viable.
But if
What I think is a tragedy is the fact that there's not a larger population of Android controlled HTs and mobile radios. I'm not talking about, it doesn't have to be a phone. It doesn't have to be DMR. Just Android controlled any kind of radio you got.
phone
Unlike-
controlled at all.
Yeah.
Put some Bluetooth in it and let me control
Right.
it with my phone.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well,
that-
any
yeah.
any new radio that comes out right now still has 10-year-old hardware compared
Yeah.
to like the rest of technology. You know, it's like
Yep.
if you're gonna make a new radio, why would you not put today's connectors on it?
Right.
That is my
Like-
whole point there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
give me, update your radio, and put a little bit of R&D and research or R&D and engineering into that radio, and give me something new in 2020.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
versus something that was made in 2009.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, you know,
Or at least give me a path to upgrade.
right. I when I got back into ham, I've had a ham radio license since 1994, but I was into it for 3, 4, 5 years, and then I dropped out, and then I got back in and dropped out, and I did that for a while until I got back into it around 2015 or so, and I've been into it really heavily ever since then. But like 2010, 12, somewhere in there, I'm like, man, why doesn't someone build an HT that's Android controlled? Because I'm like, there's everything else that's you can get an Android car stereo. You
Yeah.
can get an Android. Everything. You can get Android controlled TV, Android controlled home stereo. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
why doesn't someone build a regular old dual band analog 2-meter 440 that's Android controlled?
Because Android sucks. I have to make
That
water.
is not why. That is not why. Because Android actually has a radio and iPhone doesn't right now. And I'll say that. But yeah, that doesn't have RF, Mike. This has RF with the antenna. That doesn't. But even if it was iOS controlled, fine.
Yeah,
Sub-
it's the
subpar OS, but fine.
it's the
it-
technology.
Right, exactly. It was better. It's better than the Bofang 40 menu radio that says memory, channel
Right.
mode, memory mode.
Well, what
you
is
know.
what is the 705 going to do? You're going to be able to connect that via Bluetooth. Is that Bluetooth to your phone? Is that Bluetooth to a speaker? Is that Bluetooth? What are you going to be able to do with that 705 for Bluetooth? Does anyone know?
Okay, so the ID 5100 dual band D-Star radio, mobile D-Star radio, has a Bluetooth app where you can control the rig from like an Android tablet. You can do it from your phone, smaller screen. But I take my 7-inch Android tablet and I can control the radio. And
With an app.
yes, with an app, with an app that Icom makes. Yes,
Okay.
correct. So I assume, and Icom has Icom has a Windows program that will do remote software for their 7300, 7610, and all that. I don't know.
But how do you get that? But you have to, correct me if I'm wrong here, you have to connect your 7300 to another computer, and then you connect that computer to that other computer, and that's how you get
For the 7300, that's true. For the 7610 and the 9700, that is not true. They have their own built-in computer. The 7300 does not have its own built-in computer.
Okay, yeah.
It's kind of like it was kind of like the front runner of that whole remote software thing.
Yeah, gotcha.
So, but this is not an app. This is Windows installed program software.
Yeah, right.
So with Bluetooth, you know what? That's a good question, because I remember Ray talking about something about Bluetooth with the 705 at
Maybe.
Orlando, but I can't remember exactly what it was right now.
Maybe Mike knows.
I think Eric showed something about Bluetooth on his videos. He made a few videos on that radio, but I don't remember what it does. But I'm pretty sure you can like use your phone to make it work. I'd have to watch it
I'm
again.
pretty sure that there's an app for it. I'm pretty sure that Icom created some sort of app that will control your radio And I don't know if you can transmit through the app, or if you can just change channels or do D-Star. I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Now, will they
I
update
feel
the
that
app?
you
That's the
can.
question.
Yeah. Fair question.
Radioactive just posted in the chat from the Icom site, built-in Bluetooth and wireless LAN used for smartphone linking and remote control.
Yeah.
Remote control. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, if you're on a park bench and you don't want to manipulate the buttons by reaching slightly with your hand, you can just sit here on your phone.
You mean you can put the radio on the park bench and then you could operate from your car?
Right. Yeah. Now, if they went the Elecraft route, which I don't know if Icom's innovative enough to do this or not, but if they went the Elecraft route, then they could take the 705 and have it connect via Wi-Fi to a network and then remote back to your 7610 at home and control your home station.
There you go. That's what Elecraft does. It. Yeah.
That's what Elecraft does.
They make just the front panel, right?
Right. Correct.
I mean, it's a Maestro.
It's what it is. It's basically a Maestro. You can also do it with two K3Ss or two K4s.
Yeah.
If you have a K3S and I have a K3S, you can control my K3S and vice versa with the whole thing. So, yeah. So if the 705 remotely out in the field somewhere could act as a Maestro and control my 7300 or 7610 at home, that might be fun.
Right.
That might be fun. So it'd be interesting to find out.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll do that. That would be neat, though.
Yeah, I kind of don't think that's. I don't think that was really in their game plan, but that would be. Hey, you know what? That might be just a firmware update that's waiting to happen.
Could be.
You never know. So
the G90 could do that with a firmware.
Yeah, probably could.
No, it doesn't have the.
Clark says so. It's like a Flex.
Stuff.
No, it's not like a Flex, Clark.
We're saying it would be cool if it was like a Flex, but
but it's like
not.
Yeah. The 705 is take a 7300 and a 9700 and squish them together into one radio, and add D-Star.
And take away 90 watts.
Yes, it is a freaking cool radio though.
It
like
really
being
is
able to play with it and at Hamcation. I was impressed very much. I mean, Icom really does know how to innovate between like Yaesu, Kenwood, and Icom. Mm-hmm. Icom by far gets it, at least for me anyway. With
agreed.
I don't care about all the buttons and stuff, but like I love my 891, but Yaesu's menus, I've said it before and I'll say it a million times. Yaesu's menus are terrible. They have no logic. Like just the power. If I want to change my HF power on the 891, I have to go to menu 16. That should be menu 1.
Right.
Like you go through so many other menus that you never ever touch before you get to the power, and it's just stupid. Where Icom is like, okay, what mode am I in? I'm only going to show you options that are pertinent to this mode.
Right.
And that's it.
Well,
it just makes sense.
The Yaesu VHF UHF's menus are a little bit better. My FTM 400 is okay. Like once I get used to it, I put the buttons that I want on the top and I'm good. Like I don't get into that menu, but on my 891, it's a disaster.
Yeah. One response to Mike, one response to Kyle. Mike's response is this. I had someone come into my chat I don't remember why. I think I was talking about in my shopping video this morning. I was talking about ML&S, Martin Lynch and Sons over in the UK had they put up a video about an unboxing of 705, and I shared it. So you can go over here and order this.
When did they do that?
Yesterday.
Oh, okay.
They're in Europe. They're not in the USA.
I know who they are.
Okay.
I've seen their videos.
So they've got a unboxing video up, and they've got the radio up on their website for pre-order. It's not out yet. Somebody came along and made the comment, and they're like, wow, that's expensive for a QRP rig. I just bought a 991 instead. And my response,
991?
Yes. And my response to him was, well, yeah, but with the 991, you have to deal with the really crap ass Yaesu receiver.
Yeah.
Now,
No, the
Yaesu.
receiver's fine.
No, the receiver sucks on the 991.
Oh, on the 991.
On the
I recognize
991.
that.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So Yaesu is very hot and cold. If you go look at the Sherwood reports, Yaesu's usually got the top 1 or 2 slots in the Sherwood reports, but those are like the $3,000 and $4,000 and $5,000 radios.
Yeah.
They're not the $1,000 radios. The 991 is terrible. The 891 is a decent receiver. The 991 is crap. I mean, it's like I borrowed one from a friend. I'm like, this thing's not anywhere near my 7300. Now say, well, you get UHF and DHF. Yeah, and that's true, and that's what you need. That's okay. No, that's fine. I'd rather have a 7000, but whatever. It's fine. But I'm just like, I don't know. My response to what Kyle said is, I don't know. I don't have an FTM 400, so I don't know what the menus look like on that radio. But I cannot count the number of people who used to call me back when I was selling radios. I was selling the Chinese stuff. They used to call me or email me, and they would complain about the TYT TH9800 programming menus in that quad band radio. They were like, what are the Chinese thinking? These guys are... I'm like, dude, you realize, of course, that is a direct copy of the Yaesu FT8900. It is
almost exact.
I have a Yaesu FT8900 and I have a TH9800 from TYT. The TYT actually has about 2 more menus because it has an AM receive where you can go down to 11 meters and do a receive thing. But 98.5% of those menus are an exact copy of the Yaesu.
All right. So do you have an FT3DR, right?
Yes.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how horrible is that one?
Figuring out where the hell to go to get to the menu was a pain, but once you get into it, it's okay. I mean, it's all right, I guess. You know, for an HT, it's just, you know, it's like people complain about the Bofang program. The Bofang, I'm like, the Bofang has a button that says menu.
Yeah.
That is true.
I mean, there's no button that says menu on the freaking Yaesu, man. Yeah. Now the FT3D, now somebody's got to come along and comment on your video later. Well, you said the FT3D sucked. That's not what I said. That's a kick-ass radio. It's a fantastic radio. I would much rather have my FT3D than any Bofang on the planet. But if you're talking about ease of going into the menu and changing stuff, not so much, even though it's touchscreen. So,
yeah.
So here's on the Sherwood Engineering. So if anybody out there in chat world wants to know, Google Sherwood Engineering receiver tests. Number 1 is the Yaesu FT101D.
Good. That's been there for a long time. I was wondering if it was still there.
Yep. Number 2 is the 6700 by Flex. The third one is the Icom IC-705.
That's a receiver.
That's just the receiver.
That's just a receiver. It's not a transceiver.
Okay. Number 4 is the Elecraft K3S.
Yeah. Okay.
Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is still a Elecraft K3S, but it's a second sample, 10 meter data. So maybe they add it. I'm not really sure what that is. Then number 6 is an Elecraft K3, an Icom IC-7851, then a Kenwood TS980, then a Hyberling, and then an Elecraft KX3, an Apache, which is Apache's
KX3.
KX3.
A QRP rig is what number 7?
Top 10. Yeah.
Wow. But it's an Elecraft. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, Elecraft and Elecraft has got the majority, and then once you get into the top 15, then you have all the Flex radios.
Yeah.
So it's a toss up between, I would say in the top 15, it's a toss up between Flex and Elecraft.
Yeah, and that Yaesu spot has been, that number 1 spot has been a Yaesu for a long time. The FT101 has a fantastic receiver. I mean, it's a $3,500 radio. It sure as hell should have a fantastic. Where's the 7610, Kyle?
7610 comes in at maybe 16, 17.
Wow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
22. Wow.
But keep in mind, some of these I'm looking through here. The top 20 have there's probably 5 or 6 receive only
Oh, yeah.
radios.
Yeah. Yeah. Adam made a good point in the chat. He's like, to be fair, receiver sensitivity is almost never a limiting factor due to noise. Receiver filtering is critical. Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
But at the same time, in a real world environment, I mean, you're never going to have a perfect environment for a receiver. You're always going to have noise somewhere. You're not going to take an FT101D up to the top of a mountain somewhere with no noise, right? So, but it does help. I tell you what, it does help.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, filtering is important as well. That's very true.
Which the G90 has none. Well, it has filters, but it doesn't. There's no noise reduction or notch, which really.
I mean,
Is there an attenuator?
Yeah, there's a preamp and an attenuator,
Okay.
but I never use either of those functions on any radio. I just let it go.
I used to use the attenuator on my 706 Mark II-G because that was basically all it had. It was either that or noise blanker didn't really do much and noise reduction didn't really do much.
Well, noise blanker, I see so many people with their noise blanker on. That's
Yeah.
for like electrical noise, like your
Have a microwave running or
ignition
something.
system
Yeah.
in your car.
Right.
It's not gonna. If you're out doing portable, a noise blanker isn't gonna do
No.
anything.
No.
Noise reduction.
Noise reduction will.
is
Sometimes.
going to
Maybe.
Yeah, it depends on.
Yeah.
I mean, like my FT450's noise reduction, it was just there. It didn't
Yeah.
do anything, but there was a button for it. It was terrible. But the 891's noise reduction is fantastic. The 7300's noise reduction is fantastic.
Yeah.
Just watched Johnny's video on that Flex 6400, and when he hit noise reduction, it was like, holy crap, this sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
The noise reduction
fantastic.
on the Flex is fantastic. It really
well, the
is.
filters
Yeah.
on the Flex
Yes.
are you can't get any easier. Like
No.
if I mean, even on field day, you've got guys on top of you and you can notch them out, and
Yes. I was doing that. I did that so many times on my on 13 Colonies weekend.
yep.
I'm like, yeah, there was some guy down in the noise calling like, K2L or K2C or whatever it was. And I'm like, and I go back to him and then some idiot would come up like 2 KCs above him and just start talking and just notch, move over.
Yep.
Oh, you're gone.
Well, and the great thing is on the Flex interface, it's so intuitive on how to put filters in. Once you put one filter in, you can put filters in anywhere else. And then also, once you learn how to set your AGC for your different bands, then it's like you're getting maximum sensitivity per band,
Right.
on and for per antenna that you're using. It's great,
Yeah.
If you ask me how to set the sensitivity or the AGC on my 891, I'd be like, I don't know, I plug it in and I call CQ.
Yeah.
Well, it's got fast, slow, and auto and off.
But
Yeah.
there's
that's what Flex has too. But
but there's some things that you can do
Yeah.
to bring that sensitivity up on
There
the
might be
Flexes.
some. No, on the 891, I don't think there is. I think it's just
yeah.
here you go.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never even. I bought that damn 891 at Dayton last year, and I probably have turned it on 4 times.
Huh.
I was thinking that I was going to. Well, I wanted a mobile rig, and I was going to put it in my car, and I designed a whole mount for it and got it in there, and oh, this is great. This is awesome. And then you got it there, Mike?
Yeah, I took that. I took it out of the car to do my POTA activation.
Yeah. So there's my mount
Oh, there
that I
you go.
3D printed or I designed and 3D printed, and then
you
Mike.
designed that?
Yeah, I designed
Oh, wow. Okay.
the mount there. Yeah, I designed that.
Oh, cool.
So, but the problem that I had was I put it in my truck, and then it's got a detachable face. The wires are too long, and what I can turn the unit on, but I can't use it, and I can't turn the unit off because the wires are too long. Yeah.
What do you mean the wires are too long?
So
Oh, that-
the detachable head the wires that I bought from Yaesu. Or I'm sorry,
Yeah.
they're not too long, but they do not work. I ran the wire in, and I brought the unit is in the back of my cab, and I brought the unit all the way through and have it mounted in a cup holder just like you do, Mike.
Mhm.
And that thing, I can turn it on, but I cannot operate with it,
Really?
and it will not turn off.
You'll be pissed at what I use.
What do you use?
So the the TYT 9800 comes with a really long separation cable,
Yeah.
and I use that. And
How long
works
is it?
Perfect. It's like 10 feet.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
this
works-
is the
it
this
plugs
is
right
the
into
year
the
that,
head of the body. It's
I'm pretty
great.
sure that's just a standard Ethernet cable, dude.
No, it's an RJ.
It's an
21.
RG45 or something.
No, it's an
Okay, it's an
RJ21.
I think it's an RJ45.
No, it's not. Jason, you don't know what you're talking about.
The 9600 I'm talking about.
Oh,
The
I'm talking
TYT
about
Whatever
the
that is.
891. That's an RJ45.
That's an RJ11.
That's an RJ45. It's got how many pins does it have, Mike?
Well, this is for the microphone, but it's the
That's
same
the
damn
microphone,
thing.
Yeah.
How many pins does that have? 6?
This one is
The TYT does
yeah,
not have
6.
a weird RJ21.
Yeah, that's not an RJ45. RJ45's got 8 pins.
whatever.
The RJ45 is the Ethernet cable. The RJ11
It looks
is
like
the
a
old
phone cord. All right,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't.
an RJ11. That's an RJ11.
But that's what. So the cable that connects the head to the body of the, what is it, the 9800, the TYT
the
9800
9800. Yeah, that's an RJ11 cable.
is the same cable that the 891 uses.
Yeah,
It's
it's not
not
an RJ.
surprising
It's not
since
RJ11, and I think it's an RJ21. Has 6 pins. An RJ11's got 4 pins.
4
Alright.
pins. Yeah.
Well, whatever.
maybe
it is.
maybe you're right, but regardless, that it doesn't surprise me that the Yaesu, or I'm sorry, the TYT has copied Yaesu, and the cables for TYT work with Yaesu. That
It
doesn't
makes
surprise
sense. It is a direct copy.
me. Yeah.
So
Like, can you just put an RJ45 at the end of it, please?
Yeah. Yeah.
Pain in the butt. Another mark for Yaesu.
I tell you what, I just, until someone comes out with a mobile radio that's as good as the IC-7000, that's what I'm sticking with. I would like to see, including Icom, by the way, because the 7100, while the radio is good, putting that funky face mounting somewhere is, no thank you. No
yeah,
thank you. I
you
don't
gotta
want
have
to
a
do
big
that.
truck for that.
And well, still, I don't want to jack with that stupid thing. I mean, it's a big freaking head that's
Yeah.
got this weird bevel to it. It's not touchscreen. It's not color. Why do I want to mess with that?
Oh, it's not touchscreen? I thought it was.
No, the 7100's not. No,
Okay.
but the 7000, man, is just freaking awesome.
It's
So
a neat radio. My dad's got one of those.
yeah, I'm until some, and even Yaesu. I mean, the 891 is fine, but I don't know. I used my 891 in Costa Rica. I liked it. It worked very well for what it was. At the time, my biggest complaint of the video I made, now that video is like 4 years old now, was that I thought it was priced too high for what it was, because they came out with the 891. It had a better receiver, better sensitivity, better filtering than the 857, but it was $100 more, and it dropped UHF, VHF all mode.
Yeah.
And people would come along and say, well,
People
yeah,
were pissed that it didn't have a sound card in it. That was one of the big gripes. too,
yeah,
when
and
came out.
that was right at the cusp of all the radios that are created now have sound cards built
Yeah.
into them. So, but everybody was like, well, what, just get a dual band radio. I have a dual band radio in my car already. I'm like, really? You have a dual band all mode radio that'll do sideband? Really? I'd like to see that. I've never seen one of those. Please tell me what that is.
I wish they made
that's-
it a sideband.
I wish they would too. But saying that you dropped the UHF VHF out of the 857 and got an 891 and then had a dual band, you're still missing sideband on 2 meters.
Yeah.
And some people say, well, I don't care about that. Well, that's okay if you don't care about it, but it's not apples to apples. And that was my point, because the 857 would do single sideband 2 meter and 70 centimeter. The 891 that dropped all of that wouldn't do that. And your dual band FM radio in your car also won't do that. So you're missing something there. It's not the same. It's not apples to, and that was my point. But now that the 891 has come so far down in price, that's almost the,
Yeah, it's under
you're gonna-
600 now.
yeah. I mean, if you're going to build a Go kit and you're looking for like the smallest compact something for HF, I mean, that's That's the one to get, man.
Somebody
I mean,
just emailed me the other day asking about. He's like, I'm on a budget, and he's been watching the videos with the G90s and the 891s, and he's like, you know, which one should I get? And I'm like, hands down, absolutely the 891.
Yeah. Oh,
because
yeah.
it's
Over the
only
it's
only $100 more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get them on sale for $550. It's I just R&L has them. Well, they're out of stock right now, but $575 was like the non-sale price, right?
Right.
So you get 100 watts, you get a way better radio, you get way better features, you get the noise reduction and the notch filter, which those are the two things that I use. I always have the noise reduction. Well, unless I'm in a park, pretty much always have the noise reduction on. But the notch filter is important when you're running a pile up, and some jackass thinks it's a good idea to key up and tune right on your frequency instead of going 3 kilohertz either way.
Right.
Like, so
yeah,
that's the notch filter just cuts that out, and you never hear anyone keying up. So
the notch filter is definitely something the 857 did not have, or not a very. I don't remember if it didn't have it or if the one it had sucked. I don't remember which one it was, but but the filtering on the 891 was really good. Yeah,
and the G90, it's a cool radio, but the only thing you're gaining is an awesome internal tuner,
right?
And you get that neat little waterfall screen. But keep in mind that screen is the same exact screen that you're going to get in a DMR radio. It is tiny. Like it looks big in every video you will ever see. It is the same screen as on my Island's HD1.
It's the same size as your head in your own video right now.
Right. But it's they're tiny. So and the buttons are small, everything. And I have like stupid little fat fingers. So I mean, I can navigate. It's not a big deal, but I mean, having a waterfall is really nice, especially when I'm doing portable, so I can just see where a clear frequency is. But I can also just tune around and listen for a minute, and it's frequency in use, and then call CQ a couple times if you don't hear anybody. So, but and I said and this is what I did initially. If you want to run QRP, just turn the power down.
Right.
But if you're going to have a portable radio that you're also planning on using in the shack, which my 891 was my shack radio for the year or so before I got the 7300. Yeah. So, to just have a 20-watt QRP radio at home, you're going to be probably let down a bit when you're trying to chase DX, which is pretty much all I do at home. I don't call CQ at home. I'll tune around and see if someone, I'll chase parks on the air or something, or usually just chasing DX at home. And if I were just using the G90 or the X5105 or any QRP radio, you can do it. I've broken pileups. When I was in Florida, I broke a pileup using the RS918 with like 4 watts into some guy in Costa Rica. And he's like, he was amazed that I broke through the pileup. I was on the Wolf River coils with the RS918, and I got in, and it was awesome. I sent him a picture, and we exchanged a couple emails. He had a beautiful shack, but that was neat. But now if you get the amplifier, that's another thing, but now you're at $1,000, and that kind of blows the whole budget thing out of the water. But that would be a viable option if you wanted a portable, like I said in my video of the amplifier. You can spend $1,000 for a 7300, or you can spend $1,000 for a G90 and the amplifier, and then you kind of get the best of both worlds. But the G90 is almost the same exact size as the 891, same weight and all that stuff.
That's true.
Almost. It's a little bit smaller, but you still got to bring a battery.
Right.
Oh,
people keep asking me in various chats about, I'm looking at the 891 or the G90 or the 891 or the KX3 or the 7300 or the G90 or something. I'm like, dude, if it's your first HF radio, don't go QRP.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't go QRP. I mean,
it's bad news.
If all
bad
you
news
want to do
bears.
is backpacking, if all you want to do is soda and backpacking, then fine, go QRP. But if you want to do anything besides soda and backpacking, mobile operation, home operation, whatever, don't go QRP. Not for your very first radio. No, don't do that.
Maybe if we were like at the top of the sunspot cycle.
Maybe.
You know, I'd be like,
Yeah.
all right, if you want to go QRP, but not now.
But then
Yeah.
everybody else's signal is going to be
Right. Exactly.
even better. So
Right.
so it's really whether we're
But
at
it's
the
not
bottom
gonna-
or the top.
It's gonna be but it's gonna be less disappointing whenever you're on
Yeah.
10 meters
It
and
would
you're
be.
like, why isn't anybody calling me back? Well, you're on 10 meters, you know, at
Yeah.
at 8 p.m. at night.
Yeah. True.
You know,
10
So-
hasn't been open lately. It was really exciting for a while, like a month or so ago.
I made a contact to Colorado from St. Louis at field day on 10 meters. I was
I made a
was bl-
6
I was
meter
blown
contact
away.
to Florida.
Yeah,
There
I
was
was blown
6
away.
meters was open last week. I was seeing people post in Discord that 6 meters was open. They were doing
Huh.
FT8 on 6 meters.
Oh wow, yeah, I haven't seen much on 6 or 10 lately. Like I kind of fell in love with 10 meters
Yeah.
when it was open.
10 meters.
'Cause
is
I haven't
fun.
really played with it much. And I'm still a relatively new ham. I've only been licensed for 4 years.
Mhm.
Little more than 4 years. So, you know, when I first got my general, I was talking to some guys on the local repeater, and they're talking how cool 6 meters is when it opens. So I was like, oh, cool. Well, let's try that. So when it opened, I made a few contacts, and that was about it. But this
Magic
year,
band.
when 10 opened, I was like, oh man, this is cool. And I learned, like, I never went to 10 meters or 17 or 15. Really, the DX Commander kind of made me know
Yeah.
like where everything was, because
Yeah.
I'm like 40-20. That's it.
Yeah.
So like, okay, now I know that like 28.3 to 28.5 is kind of the side band.
Yeah.
Because they don't, like, the charts, the ARRL band plan doesn't tell you like where the CW portion is and where the phone portion
The
is.
W5YI
does.
band plan is better.
Yeah, I
The
got one of the Icom
yeah.
ones, and that one sucks too.
I don't have an icon.
The ARL doesn't tell you where digital and
Well, it tells you
where CW is. Yeah,
it
the
tells
red
you where
is CW.
CW is. Yeah, but like, so on the sideband portion, so you've got 28.3 to 29.7 or whatever it is. But when you get up there, it's an FM. It doesn't say, well, these are, you know, it's not broken up into like
Oh, Well,
where who's
yeah, I
using
hear ya.
what
And-
where, you know.
and you know, one of the things that I hate is whenever I have a brain fart and I'm calling CQ on 80 meters and some old OM comes in and says, "You're in the DX portion. Get out of it. You're in the
The
DX portion.
DX
Get out."
portion.
Yeah, there's
a DX portion of the band.
So I'm just like, why doesn't somebody put on the internet like this band plan that says, hey, you might not want to call DX in this portion, or call CQ in this portion unless you're calling for DX, you know.
Huh,
And
that's
that just
interesting.
comes
80
with,
is its own thing, though. It's
Yeah,
I
and that
don't
just
go
comes
down
with-
there.
It
It's a
is,
weird
yeah.
with
band.
experience. You know, I'll be down at
Yeah.
Ward's contest station, and he'll look at the clock, like we'll be all sitting around the kitchen table, and he'll look around the clock and go, "Hey, in about 20 minutes, 15 meters is going to open up. You guys want to go get on the radio?" And we're like, "How the hell does he know that?" And it's just from 40 years of contesting, and we'll
Yeah.
sit down on the radio, and there'll be nothing, and 20 minutes will go by, and poof, there'll be all these stations like, Jesus Christ, how did you know that?
Wow.
How do you know that?
It's like the
It's just
Farmer's
40
Almanac of
Awesome.
RF.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 40 years of being on the radio, you know,
Yeah.
and just knowing all
Yeah.
that stuff.
But you're right. There isn't just a resource that, not a good one anyway, much
Yeah.
like all other amateur radio websites. Like, you would think that it would be, and I'm a freaking extra. I studied, I read the books, I took a class. I just applied for my VE for the ARRL. And I still don't know these basic things. And like you said, I mean, it's like I learned it just because like making antennas kind of taught me, oh, okay. So I had to dive a little deeper into, okay, well, where is the phone portion of 15 meters, you know, or like, or even what's the center and where, or 17 meters, your 10.068 to 10.168 or whatever it is. But below, I think the phone portion starts at like 110. So, you know, just knowing, and especially when you get to 10 meters and 6 meters, where is, when you got more FM stuff going on, you got repeaters,
Right.
like
And beacons.
where do these, and beacons,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
where is everybody at? So the only thing that the one of the questions in the extra pool is like, where would you find stations in a contest, something like that? And the answer is in the lower part of the band in the weak signal portion. That was the answer.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Mm.
Where a contest would be on 10 meters, the answer is in the lower portion of the band, and specifically in the weak signal portion.
And that's a question that and an answer that you're going to forget, right?
Well, I didn't, obviously, but
No. But I
but
mean,
it doesn't tell you the frequency. Like,
yeah.
that doesn't mean anything.
I mean, you saying that, I learned something new.
Right.
Like
yeah.
I am
Well,
on.
there you go.
I'm on 10 meters. So that is not a band that I automatically say, hey, I need to go up and work 10 meters. For
Right.
the next hour and a half.
And I don't know if that was specifically saying this is 10 meters. It might have just been a contest thing in general, but that's not the case. With my experience in contests, just from being a general and doing field day and QSO parties and all that stuff, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can find a clear slice, that's where it is. So
Yeah. Especially
Mike Smith. This is a Shure Beta 58. Anyway.
So you're right. If there's a worldwide contest going on, it's butts to nuts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
But I guess on 10 meters in a sideband contest, it would be the lower portion.
but it's
because
still
you're
butts to nuts.
No,
you're
it's
like
not either.
28.3 to 28.5 versus 29. I mean, you're way the hell away from the FM guys.
I think it was the CQ Worldwide Single Sideband Party. I think that's the contest it was. We were in Costa Rica 2 years in a row for that contest, and 10 meters just opened up, just boom. All kinds of South America, Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Puerto Rico. I mean, it's all kinds. Mexico, even stations north of us. So I put in my chat. I'm like, I don't remember what it was. It wasn't Discord. It might have been Slack chat for one of my clubs I'm in or something. Say, hey, 10 meters is open. And 2 or 3 stations came back to me from the United States. They're like, you can't hear anything up there. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, dude, they're coming in. But there was like one station at like 28,550. And he was like 10 over 5.9.
Wow.
And then you'd go up the band is like, oh, here's another station at like 28,720. It's like this dead space in between them.
Yep.
But that they were littered throughout. There was like a half a dozen or more stations just like that. But there was this much space in between each one on the waterfall. And I'm like, man,
10 meters is tough.
But it wasn't in Costa Rica.
Band.
Yeah, but it's
I'd go down there and they were just calling CQ and no one was coming back to him. I'd be like, TI 7-stroke KC5 HWB. Hey, there you go. You're from thank you very much. That's 73. Boom. And he'd go calling again. And I'm like, nobody's coming back to this dude. And I did that like 6 or 8 times. I'm like,
that's funny you mentioned that going even higher. Cause when I built my DX Commander, I centered 10 meters for 28.4. And
see,
the reasoning was because
that's the center of the technician band.
Right.
The technician
figured
28.3 to 28.5.
That's where everyone would be because that's where most people can play.
And there's more people in that section, yes. But if you're down in South America, they're not going by FCC rules in South America because all their licenses are different.
Yeah.
right.
So, I mean, all the stations were littered throughout between like 28.3 and 29.0. They were littered throughout that whole band. So,
And you get that, in a bunch of worldwide contests where some people, that's why having your extra is a little bit more of an advantage in the United States.
correct. Yeah.
Because you can go down and grab those people that might have different privileges in Uganda.
Right.
So really, it looks like I'm looking at the Icom band plan thing. It still isn't very clear, but let me get rid of this. The 10 meter thing here. I guess all of this blue until you get to
Goes all the way up, right?
the satellite downlinks to 29.3. I guess that's all sideband. Well, it says general voice. So blue is general voice, CW, and image. So, but 29.3 to 29.5 is satellite downlinks, and then 29.6 to 29.7 is FM. So I guess.
Yeah,
But that's a
somebody.
huge freaking band to just be
It is.
on
Oh, yeah.
sideband to
There's
be
a lot of-
tuning
yeah.
at like.
That's where
you
you
know-
need a pan adapter, and you bring
Right.
that band all the way through that pan adapter, and you can
Right.
see them. Like,
Yeah,
having a water
7300.
yeah, but
Bring it to
it's
400.
a little bit harder with a 6-inch screen than with
Yes.
your computer screen. You know, that does
Yeah.
HD, and you can literally not only are you hearing, but you're seeing. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, I'm gonna drop off of here.
Yeah, I think
we're
we're done. I was done. It's 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
10
done.
o'clock here too. So,
Done a few
but
little bit ago.
thanks for doing this though. It was a good promptu something.
Yeah, we kept
So-
the viewers up. I think we hit
Yeah.
about 40, and we've been streaming about 30 to 35 here and continuously. So
Yeah.
I can talk ham radio and drink beer all day.
Right. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, it's 11 here
No
though.
doubt.
So
Yeah.
Brian Edwards says he's hopes to get a 991A this month. Apparently, he didn't hear what you were saying, Jason.
Well, you know what? A lot of people like that radio, and that's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
I was like, you know, the main comment I was making about that radio tonight was the fact that somebody had commented on my video that I was just talking about the IC-705. He's like, oh, wow, that's too much for QRP. I'm just going to go with the 991. And I'm like, yeah, you're going to suffer receiver wise, but okay. But it is 100 watts where it's not a QRP rig. People are complaining about the price of this of the 705. And while I can understand that, you guys have been, and I'm guilty of this too. We have been spoiled by the 7300. The 7300 has spoiled everyone.
Oh yeah.
Because even though it's back up to $1,000 now, it was $895 for the longest time. You shouldn't get used to getting a quality of HF rig in that price range. I mean, that's a $1,500 to $1,700 radio that you're getting for sub.
Don't say that. They'll raise the
$1,000.
price.
Yeah. Well, it is. It just is. So
Yeah, it is. It
they
is
raise the
an
price on it
awesome
now,
rig,
and
yeah.
nobody will buy it. So they're not going to do that. But
which one are you
that
talking
radio
about?
is that
7300.
7300.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
zoned out there for a bit.
Yeah, 7300. It's just
Yeah,
you know
that is the greatest first radio. Just
It
save
really
up
is.
and get that radio.
yeah,
Yeah.
it really is. I mean, you can't, you know, for the longest time, you couldn't get a radio of that quality sub $2,000. It's just
The crazy
No.
thing is, for all the radio, and probably not too many people can relate to this, but for what the 7300 is and everything you get for $1,000
yeah,
is absolutely amazing.
yeah, yeah.
So my point is, my wireless system that I use for my guitar,
hmm
which is just a transmitter on my strap and a receiver in my rack. It's a Shure QLXD, is $1,000
Yep.
just
Yeah.
to send a radio signal from my
Yeah.
guitar
Yeah.
to my amplifier. And there's more like that's a really good system. There's more expensive ones than that,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
the pros use. Mine is definitely not an entry level. I mean, you can get a wireless guitar system for probably $50, a cheap one, but
Mhm.
And it costs sure $100 to make.
Right.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
$1,000 for my wireless guitar system, or $1,000 for this incredible transceiver
Right.
that receives freaking, you know, huge wide range. And I think my transmitter on my wireless is like a half a watt max, which is
Yeah,
fine. I mean, I don't
probably
need
so.
to I
Yeah.
don't need to be
You don't
broadcasting
yeah.
my crappy guitar playing
Mhm.
any farther than it needs to go. But
Yeah, but you're
Yeah.
you're plugging in a Les Paul with $5,000.
Right.
yeah, but,
So-
not quite $5,000, but
No, they're not
I've
$5,000. I
got-
thought they were 40.
well, they can be. I've got
Yeah,
a
I thought
Les
it was
Paul,
my friend's got one. I think he paid $4,800 for it.
oh, they've got different models. I've got two Les Paul standards and a Les Paul custom, all Gibson. I don't play Epiphone.
Mm.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're not inexpensive guitars, but you pay for what you get, you know.
Mm.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah.
So, but I'll tell you what, the reason I had to get that wireless is because that when the FCC sold the 600 megahertz spectrum, my
Mhm.
previous wireless system that I probably paid like $500 for was an SLX, was in the 600 megahertz. So Shure gave me a $200 rebate. Wow. to get a different system, so I mailed them back my old system and bought a new one. So I got $200 rebate, but it sounds way better. It's like I'm plugged into the amp, and the first time I used this wireless system, I was like, holy crap, it's phenomenal.
Totally different.
So I mean, it's just the clarity and crispness. I mean, it's a hell of a wireless system, but still.
It's
But
using
then
more.
This is my wireless mic that I use to record all my YouTube videos. And there's a transmitter and a receiver. This is actually the receiver, and I just hook them up backwards when I want to use it as my inner monitors when I'm doing the Zoom things. This was like $100 on Amazon, and it's in the 500 megahertz band.
Can you not plug up a microphone and an earbud to that guitar system?
I could, but the body pack is the transmitter.
Okay.
And the receiver is, I mean, it's a big rack mount.
Oh, it's a rack
thing.
mount. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
It's not like the Rode Podcaster where it's
Well,
got,
I've seen
yeah.
I've seen some guitar transmitters, and the transmitter and receiver are both the body pack.
Yeah,
So,
those suck. Those are horrible.
Maybe they do. I don't know. I don't know anything about guitar systems.
And honestly, all I'm doing is playing in front of my amp downstairs in my basement. So I don't need $1,000 wireless, but I have it.
Yeah.
But I've always, since I was like 12 years old when I started playing guitar, I've just hated having a cord. So I've naturally progressed. I mean, my first wireless was like $100, and I was like, when I got it, I'm like walking down the street playing guitar to see how far it could go.
See how far it can go. It's awesome.
But
cool.
So
all right,
guys.
well, we're gonna end
Thanks, guys.
we're gonna end the stream here, and then we'll get off Zoom so it doesn't look awkward as we're just kind of like all piling off. So, all right, everyone that's on the channel, thanks. Go subscribe to Ham Radio 2.0. Go subscribe to K8MRD radio stuff.
Oh yeah, I have a channel
over there.
Oh yeah,
and down there. So,
all right,
Mike
thanks
just
for
put out
thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thanks for setting this up, Kyle.
So we'll catch you later. All right, see you guys later on the YouTubes. Later.
Later.
Bye.
All right, we're